At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, SiriusXM Channel 375, all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck, along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago, hanging out with you until 3 Eastern. If you want to join the show, you can call or text us at 310-840-4910. B&A back from Pittsburgh in the NFL draft. We had a great time, and the NFL draft was a lot of fun, and I think the reactions today to what took place in the NFL over the weekend is clearly our top story.
Absolutely. What happened? We're still reacting to what the Rams did, who had the best class, who had the worst class. Let's overreact to things that we can't actually grade for the next few years.
Well, it's better to talk about it today than us opening the show and saying, okay, let's grade the 2021 draft. Well, now that we're 5 years removed of that draft. That's not how this works.
I think what you can judge right away, there are certain things that you can judge right away. There are teams that were in dire need of certain things, right?
Yes.
Like there were teams that were a few plays away from going to the Super Bowl, and the Rams chose to take a player that they're not going to use for 2 years. There's a team that is trying to go from worst to first in their division, and instead of taking a defensive player, they chose to get their quarterback in Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL draft in Carnell Tate. I thought that was a great move.
Yeah,
so there are teams, Jeremiah Love going third overall to the Arizona Cardinals. Great move for them. I thought the NFC East had the strongest draft. Just the NFC East in general had the strongest weekend of anybody. Pick a team out of a hat from the East, and I will tell you that team had a great weekend. And I think the Eagles probably had the best move of the weekend that wasn't in the draft. Getting Jonathan Greenard.
Yeah. And new paper.
A great move.
Yes.
And it wasn't even a move from the draft because you're sitting there going, Howie Roseman taking all of these offensive players. You're taking a wide receiver. You're taking a tight end. You're taking an offensive lineman. Who is this Howie Roseman taking these offensive? Oh, wait a minute. You just traded for Jonathan Greenard, and that's going to be your defensive move. Okay. Howie Roseman just won the weekend again. Hand him a cigar and champagne.
Yeah, it's a perfect text question. So you can text the show at 310-840-4910 throughout the day today. Who's your winner of the NFL draft? I think Abdalla pointed out, it's pretty clear. The NFC East had a great draft from every team. Mm-hmm. Sonny Styles to the Commanders.
Huge.
That makes sense. It's going to work. My favorite draft selections from round one were the New York Giants. And the fact that the Giants at the start of the second round get a player in Colton Hood who's expected to be a first-round guy. Yeah. So they essentially walk away in the first 2 rounds of the draft with 3 first-round talented players. And I love the Arvell Reese at 5, the Francis Mauigoa at 10. I love what the Giants did, which is interesting because Mel Kiper today, he has his draft grades on ESPN.com. He doesn't quite see the Giants situation quite the same because they didn't technically address needs, but they got great football players. So to me, the Giants got way better over the weekend.
I don't think you necessarily, if you're sitting there nitpicking as the Giants are, if you're a Giants fan, how are you sitting there saying, well, we need this one player and we need this one player? You fired your entire staff and you're bringing in a new coaching staff. You weren't one player away or a certain number of players away from going to a Super Bowl or competing for a championship. You needed best players. You needed to go out and revamp, certain players on defense, offensive linemen, all this kind of stuff. So going out and getting best player available was the move. And going out and doing just that was exactly what they did. Going and getting Arvell Reese, who I wouldn't say falling is the right term. Because Jeremiah Love goes to the Cardinals.
We had many tell us leading into the draft that Arvell Reese was the best player.
Yes.
It was Arvell Reese, it was Jeremiah Love, it was Caleb Downs.
Okay.
Those were the 3 guys that people continued to point to.
So Jeremiah Love goes to the Cardinals at 3. David Bailey went at 2. That was set. Jeremiah Love goes 3. It was the Titans' decision. Do they want Arvell Reese? Do they want Carnell Tate? Do they want Caleb Downs? That was going to be the deciding factor for the Giants. They decided to go wide receiver. out of Ohio State and take Carnell Tate. That left the Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese decision for the New York Giants, and they decided to go with the rusher of Arvell Reese. Great decision. Then you needed an offensive lineman. So you go with Francis Mauigoa. We talked to him, and Mauigoa is a mountain of a human and ready to work his ass off, and we talked to him. He's going to be great for them. And then, like you said, they get first-round talent in Colton Hood for the backside of that defense as a defensive back. And I think they had a great... So you're not just necessarily getting plug-and-play guys and saying, well, we need this player and this player here. You're drafting best available. And you're drafting guys that if Jeremiah Love had fallen to them at 5, maybe they take Jeremiah Love. And if he's the best player available, you take best player available. But
quite honestly, for the Giants, I'm glad it worked out that way.
Exactly. Best player available was Arvell Reese. So you take Arvell Reese. He was there. You take the best player available. So it worked out for them. And I think it worked out great for them. I think that they had a great draft. And I think the Cowboys also had a great draft, because if you look at what the Cowboys did...
That was going to be the next team I brought up. I love what the Cowboys did.
Caleb Downs falling to them, quote, falling. When we were talking to draft analysts, the two players that they said, the two best players, Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs. Now, in a traditional draft, running back and safety are not high-valued positions. But as far as talent, as far as the prospects go, Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs were the two best prospects, the best athletes in this draft. And so to get Caleb Downs to fall to 11, and they moved up one spot to get him, trading up. That's great. You move up, you get Caleb Downs, awesome. You get Malachi Lawrence, an edge rusher, awesome. That's great too. You get another edge rusher in Jayshon Barham, that's another great spot for you. I've got no problem with what the Cowboys did. I think they had a great draft in this draft as well.
Yeah, first-round picks of Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence, that works. And I like the way that the Cowboys immediately made their team better. They didn't overthink it with the Caleb Downs situation. He fell. They moved up. They took the best player in the draft, which in years, you joked as we started this conversation today, it's instant reaction. It's people giving hot takes. It's grading draft picks before we even see them on the field. But there is a chance 5 years from now that we point to Caleb Downs being an all-pro player at safety for the Dallas Cowboys. And then we'll remember, man, he's one of the best defensive players in the league, and he fell to 11. And so I think what the Cowboys were able to do, what the Giants were able to do, I would throw out one other team that I was pretty impressed with out of this year's draft, and that would be the Cleveland Browns. Spencer Fano, you said you loved that pick on Friday when we were talking about this.
I did.
He goes 9th overall, the tackle from Utah. Casey Concepcion, wide receiver from Texas A&M, goes in the first round, 24th overall pick. And then the first pick that the Browns had in the second round, the 39th overall pick, Denzel Boston, wide receiver from Washington. So the Browns address offensive line and get weapons for a quarterback. And I think the whole conversation we've had about the Cleveland Browns to this point this offseason is we don't know who their quarterback is. It's a grab bag of randoms in there that we have. We have Deshaun Watson. We have Shedeur Sanders. We have Dylan Gabriel. We have a mystery fourth option who the Browns didn't add. They added Taylon Green at the end of the draft.
Yeah.
As a 6th rounder from Arkansas.
Okay.
So he's now in the mix.
Yeah, well.
So you've got 4 guys thrown in there. You've taken 3 quarterbacks in 2 seasons, and you have Deshaun Watson, who you're paying out the behind to be your quarterback, right?
Yeah.
But here's what you did. Here's what you did, though. You got a player to help protect, and you've got weapons to help the quarterbacks. I like the way the Browns approach this.
I also like their pick of Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, EMW, who is the safety out of Toledo. You get that pick, in the second round. He was top 15 talent. He was a great pick at safety, I think, for their defensive backs room. And, that was picked that people, if he wasn't a safety, people would have picked him a lot higher for the talent, the prospects. He's a great prospect. The Bears picked the safety. There was a lot of debate between whether you picked, Dylan Thieneman or McNeil Warren, and where the Bears picked McNeil Warren, and whether or not you could have picked him later, have picked Thieneman later, and maybe gotten McNeil Warren later. There was debate between the two. I thought the Browns did a lot better with that value pick of going later in the second round and getting McNeil Warren out of Toledo than the Bears kind of did with Thieneman. You know, the Bears picking Thieneman late, people thought he would have gone a lot higher than there. But for the value you got picking later in the second round for the Browns getting McNeil Warren there, I think that's a great pick for them. They also had a ton of picks too. So getting the sheer volume of picks that they had was great.
But you can mess that up, though.
Of course.
That's the problem is when you have 10 selections, you also have a 7th and a 6th rounder, which, let's call it what it is. Those are lottery tickets that are players who are not likely to make the final 53 as you head into the season. Mm-hmm. Now, when you take a quarterback, Taylon Green, that could also be practice squad availability, right? You hide him, you stash him on the practice squad throughout the season. You hope to develop him. And then, you can't argue this. If you're a Cleveland Brown fan, they're taking swings at quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are the players that I would trust as like my guys to try and build to the future, but at least they've got names. Yeah. They've got a few guys who are there. Again, what I said is they draft 3 quarterbacks in the last 2 seasons. And they will all be a part of this. And last week, when the Browns were working out at voluntary workouts, it was a quarterback competition already. Mm-hmm. The charting of who's with the first team, the charting of who's making throws in these practices without pads on. So we'll keep our eyes on that. So I've got another winner of the NFL draft. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can text the show, 310-840-4910. Who's your winner of the NFL draft? Can I throw out one other winner for me? I'm going to say Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Not the Steelers.
The city?
The city.
Aw,
what a great time that we had in Pittsburgh.
Look at you.
It was a wonderful event. Shout out to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they really did show out.
They set the record for the amount of people to go to a 3-day NFL draft.
Yeah.
Like how cool was that? 300,000 people on draft night, and the crowds continue to show up. We talked about it when we were there on Thursday. Seeing people tailgating at 9 a.m. when the draft doesn't start until 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
And people are in the parking lots tailgating all day long. A beautiful city, beautiful weather for the couple days while we were there in the draft. And so shout out to Pittsburgh, winners. It was great.
It was awesome. Yeah, every part of the city was done up for the draft. I thought they did a great job. It was a great host city. All the fans were really nice and super cool to be around. And, it's a festive attitude because there are no losers in the draft because there's not like a score. You don't walk away and we beat you, you lost to us. There's no fights in the parking lot because no one lost.
It's the one weekend everyone has hope.
Everyone wins. Did you see who the Steelers snuck in and made a pick during the day yesterday?
No, who?
Michael Keaton made a pick.
Batman?
Really?
Yesterday?
I'm watching the draft
yesterday
on Saturday. I'm watching the draft on Saturday, the final rounds.
Batman.
And they're doing
the Batman, the original Batman.
He wasn't dressed up as Batman, but
was he dressed up as Birdman?
Well, he was dressed up as his character from Gung Ho. No, he was. He was. They're doing all the picks, and they have all the former players come out during the second round and the third round. And then during the 4th through 7th round, it's usually some international people. They show the videos from overseas and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, with every Pittsburgh pick, it's usually a former player.
Right. They
or someone,
had some flavor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Jerome Pettis was there.
Exactly.
Yes.
All of a sudden, out walks Michael Keaton. And I'm like, is that Mike? He's got his glasses on like it's nothing and just walks out and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, like the voice of God that's out there doing the thing. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Keaton. And I'm like, wait, hold on a second. And it's with the whatever pick in the 5th round, the Pittsburgh Steelers select. And it's he just did it so nonchalantly. And then
he just walked off?
Just walked back out like it was nothing. Like it was not like it was a regular day for him, and they had no pomp and circumstance, nothing. Batman was out there announcing a pick.
I think that's a miss on the NFL. That's a night one situation.
That's a night
That's
one.
a night one.
That's a night one.
I think Michael Keaton is night one. I don't think you bury that. What round was it?
It was like the 5th round. It was
Michael
something.
Keaton's
It was
a fifth
definitely
rounder.
Saturday.
That's insane. All right. Well, so winners. Do you have any losers of the draft? Losers of the draft. All right. First of all, we talked about it on Friday when we were in Pittsburgh. I've let it marinate. This puppy has been stewing in my head for a little bit.
Yeah, it's ready to fall off the bone.
I don't get what the Rams are doing. I don't get it at all. and I'll say this now that he's not sitting next to us. Ty Simpson didn't seem that imposing sitting next to you and I.
Shortman?
Well, you and I are not, and we appreciate everyone listening to the show. We didn't play professional football.
Nope.
We didn't play any professional sports.
I didn't even play Pee Wee football.
We watch and talk about sports for a living. It's what we do.
Yeah.
We didn't play football. And Ty Simpson shook our hand and sat down, and I thought to myself, "Ooh, he's like my size."
Short A.
And on the draft profile, they list him at I believe 6'1".
He's 6'1".
211. 6'1",
I don't know if
211.
he's 211, but he's definitely 6'1".
6'1", 211. Well, he wasn't looking down on us. I'm like 5'10", 5'11" with a good hair day.
He's 6'1". Look at the picture of us with him. He's definitely 6'1".
I'm saying, did you feel like you were sitting next to the next star quarterback in the NFL?
Well, Drew Brees was short.
Okay. Bryce Young, short.
Short.
It was less than impressive. He was a very nice kid.
Yeah.
Very nice kid.
Super nice. Super nice.
I just don't know what the Rams are doing.
I still think the way the whole process went down for the Rams, it was clearly a pick made by GM Les Snead and not a pick made by...
Well, the Rams are trying to do damage control on that and try and walk it back
because
over the
when
weekend.
On Friday, after the rounds 2 and 3, when Sean McVay has to start the press conference and come out and say, before we take any questions, let me just say that we are on the same page.
I like this pick.
I like the pick. And when you've got Ty Simpson going out there on the day of his press conference saying he hasn't talked to Matthew Stafford yet, but he's talked to his wife.
Oh, well.
Like... And my favorite part is that they've texted through Instagram. The kid doesn't even know what a DM is. Okay, here's the problem with all of this.
The best part about the Staffords, same teeth.
Same teeth. They just share.
They both have the same chompers.
The organization, the players side, and McVay, to me, I don't want to speak for them, clearly it doesn't feel like Ty Simpson is welcome in the room. And this is a pick made by GM Les Snead because he knows that in a year, because as far as we know, right now, Matthew Stafford has yet to sign an extension beyond this year. He's looking forward to the future, which is his job. It's his job. That's his job. His job is to not just draft for the year 2026-27, where the Rams are competing for a Super Bowl.
I can still dislike the pick.
I understand that. And I dislike the pick where it was made. If you would have, because I'm looking at the Rams draft, they made 5 picks. They made a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 7th round pick. If you would have traded back to 20-something and gotten a 4th and a 5th or something, just get more bodies in there.
Yeah.
How can you only walk away from this draft with 5 picks and one of them when you
is a quarterback that can't play right now?
When you're plays away from, and you drafted a guy 13th overall, a guy that's going to be holding a clipboard for the next 2 years, presumably.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. The winners and the losers from the NFL draft. I've got 2 more losers for you, Abdalla, and I'll tell you those 2 coming up next.
The Cardinals draft Carson Beck after a national title game run at Miami. is the experienced pocket passer ready to be Arizona's quarterback of the future. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Last Thursday night, we were live from the NFL Draft. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. We have interviews up there on the page with every player that was in attendance on Thursday night for the first round of the draft. David Bailey, Ruben Bain Jr., Mansour Delane, Caleb Downs, Keldrick Falk, Mekhi Lemon, Jeremiah Love, Francis Maui-Noah, Caden Proctor, Arvell Reese, Ty Simpson, Sonny Styles, Carnell Tate, Dylan Thieneman, all there in person on Thursday night for the first round of the draft. We got to talk to all of them. And you can find those interviews on our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Make sure you like and subscribe and check out the content. It was a great time backstage for the NFL Draft. We're talking about the winners and the losers for the NFL Draft that just completed over the weekend. Winners, I like the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Browns. Who did you have under your winner category?
I had the Cowboys, the Giants, the Eagles. I like what the Titans did, too.
Yeah, the Titans, I'm with you on that.
Put the Titans in
pretty
there.
good.
Yeah.
All right, so
yeah.
dislike, I had the Rams. Still don't get what they're doing. And we were just talking about that moments ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've got two more dislikes for you, Abdalla.
Okay.
NFL Draft, if you have a like or dislike, you can text the show, 310-840-4910. 8 minutes in the first round. I don't think it really worked. I think for the product, I think personally, we're thankful that the night went a little quicker
speak for
than
yourself,
it would.
bro.
But I don't think the intended target of having 8 minutes in between picks is enough time for the NFL to coordinate and to figure everything out. Because if you're just trying to watch the draft, they were many picks behind. And you would just see pick is in up there on the screen for an extended amount of time, even though if you were online, you saw 3-4 picks ahead, and it was like a backlog of guys that still had to walk across the stage. So I don't think the 8 minutes really worked for the NFL this week.
I think that there's a divide that has to take place, right, with a viewer or a person that is online, right? If you're going to sit down and watch the draft or listen to draft coverage, then you have to put your phone away. Like if you're going to sit down and watch the on ESPN or ABC, or if you're going to listen to draft coverage, that's a night where the phone goes away and you're just responding to text messages or whatever, and it's a spoiler-free night, right? Because despite what the NFL wants and says no tipping picks until they're announced by the commissioner, it's happening. Yeah. It's happening. There's nothing. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to take away people's credentials. You're going to take away like Schefter's credentials and Albert.
Schefter wasn't doing it.
But you know what I mean.
It's those who
you know what I mean.
Don't have to play by the rules.
You know what I mean. I know it's not Schefter, but it's other guys that have
It's Jordan Schultz.
Yes, it is.
He was the one that was doing it, but it's also he doesn't have to play by the rules.
It's going to be, even if he did, it's a slap on the wrist, and then whatever. They say don't do it again, and he goes, okay, I won't. And then next year he'll just do it again. It's not a big deal. So if you don't want to get spoiled, you have to just put your phone down. It's like it's like this. If you watch, I'll go back a few years. If you watch Game of Thrones and you don't want to be spoiled on finale night
with the dragons
or the hobbits, whatever it is,
the
whatever show it is,
with the
whatever show it is,
keeping it in the family stuff,
whatever show it is, and you don't want to be spoiled, don't get on the internet until you watch it. Like, if you get on the internet and if you recorded a game, don't get on the internet until you go home and watch it. Like, it's your own fault, If you want to watch the draft and be spoiler-free and just want to take in the draft, I understand what you're saying. They were behind.
But it felt like the night was being held up because the production of the first round, it takes longer than 8 minutes to get the player on the stage, to get him across, to get the hat, to get the jersey pressed, to do all that stuff.
It absolutely does. And I agree with you. Maybe they go back to 10, but I feel like once you're at 8, I feel like you can't say we're going to go back to 10. But I feel like as far as the viewer at home, if you're ahead and you're like, I'm seeing pics on Twitter and they're not on TV, then put your phone away.
Have you ever had something just completely spoiled that you were looking forward to that you like intentionally avoided finding out how it would play out, and someone just up and spoiled the ending for you?
I mean, stuff has been spoiled for me, but I'm not someone who cares. Like, it doesn't. I'll still watch it. Like, I'm not someone that's like, well, now I'm not going to watch that.
Well, yeah, but sometimes, like these TV shows or movies, some of the classic twist endings are something that, like, if you spoiled The Sixth Sense for someone, like isn't that, like, thinking back to that movie, wasn't that the appeal of the movie? Was that there was the surprise ending, or you know, any film like that? Like, I have a story on that. We were watching Ozark, and my mother-in-law was watching, but she was watching like through her TV at home where she talks into a remote, even though it's a Netflix show. I didn't really understand how she got the show up on her TV. That's not here or there.
Okay.
But we went on vacation with her, and she got confused what the first episode and the last episode were.
Oh, no.
And so we were intentionally watching, my wife and I were intentionally, we were intentionally watching the show together. And mother-in-law shows up and starts talking to us about plot points from the last episode of the season.
No.
And I was like, I know that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And you don't seem confused because you're not. You're, I mean, in the situation you are, but like you're telling real plot, like people are dead that you're telling us about that are still alive on the show.
Yeah.
And she ruined the entire season.
Yeah.
It was the final season of Ozark. So when she did that, I was like, you know that you just ruined the entire show, right?
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's like my wife will watch reality TV. My wife watch reality TV, but she will watch it on delay, like after the episode is over.
Sure.
But she's on her phone, and because the algorithm picks up what she's talking about, she'll get spoilers. And I'm like, stay off your phone during the episode. You're doing this to yourself.
Watch the show. I have one more loser from the NFL draft.
Losers.
On Thursday night, we walked back from the draft location at Acrisure Stadium to our hotel. And on our various meandering through Pittsburgh to find our hotel, we found a pizza place that I swear to you, the pizza, the sauce was SpaghettiO sauce.
You say that like it's a bad thing. It was good pizza.
Have you ever had pizza that tasted like SpaghettiOs before?
It was a sweet sauce.
No, it tasted exactly like the SpaghettiO sauce.
I don't think it did. I think it was a good pizza. I don't know why you're busting the pizza. It was good pizza.
Easy. I ate the pizza.
It was good pizza. It saved our lives. Raj found us pizza.
I have nothing against. I'm just saying.
It was good pizza.
I'm just saying it tasted like SpaghettiOs.
It was good pizza. It was 2 slices for $6. It
was great.
Great pizza.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We were in this restaurant.
Nothing like waiting for 2 slices that will be quick for 40 minutes.
You walked up to the cashier and said, "You guys have slices to go?" And she said, "Yes." But pepperoni's going to take a while. Cheese is ready.
Cheese
and
is
you
ready.
said, fine.
Let's cheese
2
it up.
slices of cheese. And
Let's
I
get
went,
weird.
awesome. I only eat cheese. 2 slices of cheese. And Raj said, cool, 2 slices of cheese. So we got 6 slices of cheese.
Cheese
and then
boys.
We ended up waiting like 20 minutes for these
Dude, it was longer than 20 minutes.
slices of cheese. Meanwhile,
and also they weren't cooking them because when you pulled the slice out of the box, it was floppy.
It wasn't they weren't like reheating them.
It wasn't like you didn't have a char on the bottom.
Like, you know when you go to places and they have the slice ready, but then they take it off and they put it in the oven for a little bit? Yeah.
Sbarro does that.
There are other There are other places. There are other people standing there. They're not in line. They've been waiting 45 minutes for their food.
The locals were getting angry.
There was another Adam. There was another Chris.
Yes,
There
and
was
a
another
Raj.
Raj.
There was
when
another
they
Raj,
called our names,
allegedly.
they were none too happy that we and our plain cheese pizzas were called first.
With SpaghettiO sauce.
With SpaghettiOs. Then, of all the crazy things that happened this weekend, this might be the weirdest. Sitting to our right, there was an Eagles fan.
Hammered.
Dipped out in Eagles gear.
Hammered
Hammered.
in the pizza establishment.
But like
he had a night. He had a great night.
And he was ending his night.
Draft night, man.
He had a great draft night. They got Mekhi Lemon, and they the next day he didn't know, but they were going to trade for Jonathan Greenard.
Boom.
He didn't know he was going to have a day.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. And he was celebrating with his own personal pepperoni pizza.
Loving it.
And he was just sitting there, just drunkenly eating the pepperoni pizza, soaking up all that, a day's worth of alcohol.
He was having a night.
He was having a night. And the next day, this drunk guy is on our flight.
Yeah.
Not
Back
only
to
is
Chicago.
he on our flight, he is sitting right behind Chris and across the aisle from me.
He was staring us down,
And
too.
we do the, I know where you're from. And he looks at us and he goes, I know where you're from, but I cannot remember
couldn't
where I
place
know
it.
you're from.
He couldn't place it.
Because he was drunk.
He was hammered.
He was very drunk. We didn't say anything, but we locked eyes and we knew. He didn't know, but we knew.
Speak for yourself. I didn't lock eyes.
I locked eyes.
I know. You had a little moment.
I locked eyes and I was like,
saw it.
I know where you're from. And he was like, I know, but I don't know.
I saw your moment.
And
You
I
had
wanted
a
to
moment.
tell him congrats on Greenard, but he didn't. I didn't want to make conversation with him.
So I'm going to throw the SpaghettiO sauce pizza into the loser
No,
category.
it was good pizza. It saved our lives.
I don't know, man.
I was so hungry.
I mean, it was food that I ate. That's
I was
the nicest thing I can say about it.
So hungry.
Of course, but like you can't say anything else about it. It was a floppy slice of cheese pizza where the cheese was lukewarm,
Two
and there
slices.
was sauce that tasted like SpaghettiOs. On it.
Yeah. And I'll throw the Jags in there as losers.
Oh, yes, and the Jaguars. Yes, of course. Bleck Abdalla, pollen season is here, but a dirty car doesn't have to be. Wash it away at Tidal Wave Auto Spa for a quick wash and that clean car happy feeling. Find a location at TidalWaveAutospa.com. Is Nikola Jokić the softest player in the NBA? We discuss this next.
Who aced the draft and who completely whiffed? We're breaking down the picks, the fits, and where your team goes next. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Nikola Jokić was fined $50,000. Julius Randle was fined $35,000. And their parts in the altercation during the closing moments of Saturday night's Game 4 between the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. There were no suspensions announced with what took place at the end of Game 4. Game 5 tonight, 10:30 Eastern. Minnesota's up 3-1 over the Denver Nuggets as we have Game 5 this evening. So facing elimination tonight for Jokić and the Nuggets. If you missed what took place at the end of the game, Minnesota was up big. It was a blowout. Timberwolves won the game 112-96. With 1.3 seconds left, Timberwolves wing Jalen McDaniels decided to go up for an uncontested layup at the end of the game, 1.3 seconds left. So he theoretically could have just dribbled the clock out, thrown the ball up into the air, and the game just over, and just moved on. Instead, he went up, uncontested layup, bucket, and Jokić was at half court, and he took exception to this, sprinted at McDaniels after the layup, and got in his face and did everything other than actually throwing a punch to then shove and push McDaniels into the Timberwolves bench. And then the bench responded. And then there was a bunch of pushing and shoving and all this stuff going on. And to add to the series overall, this is also the same series that before Game 4, the Timberwolves and McDaniels specifically called all of the Nuggets players trash defensively. He named them. He listed them off by name.
Yeah.
That none of them can play defense.
Yeah.
And when we talked about that on the show, it was like, all right, I like the attitude and the style of the Timberwolves, but now you got to go back it up.
Yeah.
And they did. And they put it on the Denver Nuggets. And so when I asked you, and when I said it before we went to commercial break, is Nikola Jokić the softest player in the NBA? I think that's true, and that's the case. If you are someone that gets called out, the Timberwolves called Jokić out. Can't play defense. He sucks. That's fine. You can either agree or disagree, but the players in the contest were the ones that are saying that he sucks on defense. And then they go out and they beat the Nuggets the way they did, and then you're going to get upset because a bucket was scored at the very end of the game after your team lost, and now you're down 3-1 in this series? That to me is such weak, absolute soft trash. To be a player to then come over and act like a tough guy, to push McDaniels into the bench, to say, what, you're going to do something now? How about the entire game, Jokic, when you had a chance to play a little defense? But you can't because you're not good on defense. And they know it, and they're in your head, and it's soft. And 50 thou, okay, that's what the league wanted to do. They clearly didn't want to suspend him because, God forbid, they react to someone who did something that was totally uncalled for. Now, we were texting back and forth, and Raj Sharon, producing the show in Colorado, parts unknown, is a diehard Denver Nuggets fan. And Raj, you were pushing back when we were texting on Saturday night that it was a dirty play that McDaniels would go up and score a bucket at the end, right?
I didn't say dirty, but it did break unwritten rules, in my opinion. And look, I'll say this. I'm biased. Like, I know that. Like, I'm going into... You're not biased because you have no emotional attachment. You were just watching this as a sports fan. Nikola Jokic is my favorite player in the history of basketball. So I have a much different
in the history
view
of basketball. Raj, what are we doing?
Raj.
Oh, take a lap. Take a lap, Raj.
What about the storied history of the Denver Nuggets?
Jeez, all of basketball.
Yeah, you know, he just edged out LaFonso Ellis, Robert Pack, Dikembe Mutombo, and Bryant Stith, and some of the other guys that I grew up watching.
Wow.
So I recognize, like, I'm biased on it, but it turned out I wasn't the only one that thought that. Charles Barkley said he would put a hit out on the guy. His own teammate, Mike Conley, afterwards was like, oh, man, as soon as I threw it to McDaniels, I knew he was going to, I'm paraphrasing, but I knew he was going to do it, and then he did it. So I did think it was unnecessary. So I'm admitting, like, my bias on it of, like, yes, I'm biased because that's my guy, but I do think that was one of, like, you could have just dribbled it out, dude. You didn't have to, like, pour it on.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. Here's what bothers me as a sports fan of stuff like this is that it's an unwritten rule, but also the Nuggets had every opportunity to stop a basket, no? Like, Jokic could play a little defense if he wanted to, if he was capable of doing so. So, like, to be sour grapes after the fact because you got your ass beat, I mean, it is so pathetic, absolutely, when you look at the way that went down. And I don't care about unwritten rules. That's stupid. It's absolutely idiotic to think that that's a problem that a guy scored a bucket at the end.
I agree with you. I think that this whole thing, first of all, looking back at, the score of the game, it was out of hand. Jokic probably shouldn't have been in at that point. There's a certain point where you just kind of go, not tonight. And Jokic isn't in the game. And so the fact that he is in there at that opportunity, I probably would have pulled him at that point and just been like, no, this is it. Sit the final, minute of the game, whatever, right? I'm not saying pull him for the final 5 minutes of the game, nothing crazy like that, but the final minute, whatever, put in the bench dudes and just, dribble out the last minute or two of the game. But you're right. I think both parties are kind of at fault here. Do you need to go in for the final layup? Probably not. Probably not. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, listen, probably not. But Jokic is more at fault here for going in and trying to start a fight when you're getting your ass beaten. You're down 3-1.
Well, I mean, here's the other thing. I thought Jokic was the guy that doesn't care about anything. I thought he didn't care about.
That's exactly where I was
doesn't care about awards. He doesn't care about the All-Star game. He doesn't. I thought he doesn't care about anything.
Yeah, this was the narrative.
What's his deal? Now he cares when he's a loser.
Well, this is what I found interesting. Like, the narrative was he doesn't care. He only cares about his horses. He only care. Well, now he cares. So what do we want from this guy? Like
he only cares when he's losing.
Yeah, but that's my point. Is he's just a sore loser. That is the point of when I was watching it. It was like, oh, now you're gonna do something. Oh, now, because I've got my brothers in the stands. Like, come on, please. It's trash, absolute trash. And how about this for Jokic, since he's such a tough guy? So far in this series, 6 for 26 when guarded by Rudy Gobert in the second half of games in this series. Gobert is just absolutely controlling this series right now.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert, all people.
Yeah.
is controlling this series.
No one has ever doubted Rudy Gobert's defensive ability against elite players. Rudy Gobert is a top 5 defensive player in the NBA. He's top 3, top 2 defensive players in the NBA. No one's ever doubted that. He's not better than, Wembanyama won Defensive Player of the Year. He came in 3rd. He probably could have come in 2nd. So no one has doubted that. And it's been the difference maker when Jokic is out there that Rudy Gobert has completely shut him down. And that's been the story of the series. And if the Wolves are going to move, the Wolves are going to move on. I don't see the Nuggets, coming back and winning this series and making this a 7-game series. This probably ends tonight. And it's going to be because of Gobert. And if they win the next series, it might be because of him too. So we'll see. I think that it just proves that this team has that toughness, and that when, Jokic has this great ability, but when they're punched in the mouth and when he's punched in the mouth, he can't really punch back.
I do feel like it is absolutely the Timberwolves got in his head.
Yeah.
And the fact that McDaniels called him out and called out everyone on the team for not being able to play defense, it's clearly under their skin. And you can text this show at 310-840-4910. Chad in California texts the show, and he says, a late game layup like that is kind of like the NBA equivalent of a middle finger. And I'm here for it. I love the middle finger. You can't be mad. That's fine. You can be mad. That's fine. But the middle finger still stands. Love the NBA playoffs. And I agree. Like, if you want to say that Jaden McDaniels is the type of player that is looking to instigate, that's fine. Like, I could understand that. But the one thing that you have to at least point out with this is he talked trash, and they've backed it up to this point. Now, tonight might be a different story. Game 5, the Nuggets have their backs against the wall. They're at home, 10:30 Eastern. So, Raj, you and all of Denver can get together and support the Nuggets. And, hey, if you win tonight, we got a series, Game 6, and we'll have a 3-2 series, and this is on.
Yeah.
But if the Nuggets fold tonight, boy, it looks like Jokic is one soft player.
I think there are different unwritten rules in sports, and this one is, like Chad in California texted us, it's a middle finger, but it's not Bush League in a sense where, like...
Yeah, this isn't thrown at someone's head in baseball.
And if you,
right?
let's say you've got a no-hitter and your team's up 4-0 and you've got a no-hitter, you don't bunt against the guy and try to get on base just to break up a no-hitter. That's Bush League. This isn't that. This is just the we got you guys type of thing,
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Right, because like in other sports, right, what else could you have? You could have, in football, you're running out the clock and you hand it off.
Yeah.
And the opposing defense sucks.
Yeah.
So you break through the line and you have 70 yards open.
And you just keep going.
And running backs you can either run it in or you could sit down.
Yeah.
And like, everyone like the morale police are like out there, oh, what a great move. He sat down. See,
Yeah.
No, get the points. Go for the touchdown.
Depends.
Come on.
Depends on your angle.
No, I'm talking about a game that's already in hand that's
Yeah.
a blowout.
You're at the
2
2-yard line and the coach instructs you to take a knee.
Now, that's different.
Yeah.
If it's strategy-based, then that's different.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's like, we watch these college football games the first couple of weeks where it's like 70-6. You don't see kids sitting and kneeing.
No.
Oh. So, all right. Jokic, that's soft. We'll see if he responds tonight. I'm sorry, Raj. That's just the reality of the situation. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Mike Tomlin thinks Aaron Rodgers is coming back. We'll talk about it next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, SiriusXM Channel 375, all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago, on the air until 3 Eastern. If you want to call or text us today, you can do that on our call or text line, 310-840-4910. We're talking about some unwritten rules in sports with Jokić taking offense to the layup late in Game 4 against the Timberwolves. Now, Game 5 tonight 10:30 Eastern. We'll see if the Nuggets can stay alive. So we'll take your calls and texts on that at 310-840-4910. Abdalla, the NFL draft is over. We were in Pittsburgh over the weekend, had a great time in Pittsburgh for the NFL draft. And we thought, heading into the draft, we would have an answer by now on whether or not Aaron Rodgers would be playing quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. We do not have an answer on Aaron Rodgers, whether or not he will play quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season as we sit here today.
I think we have our answer based on what the Steelers did in the draft. Based on where they selected their quarterback and who they selected. They took an offensive tackle with their first-round pick out of Arizona State. They took Jeremy Bernard, a wide receiver out of Alabama, with their second-round pick. And in the third round, they took quarterback Drew Allar out of Penn State. When everybody thought it would be Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier didn't go till the seventh round. That dude...
I'm wrong. I thought he'd be a second-rounder.
I thought he'd be a third-rounder. That dude had the saddest draft party at his house ever. They kept showing that draft party, and it looked depressing. Yeah. I felt bad. Started to feel very bad for Garrett Nussmeier. I think because they selected Drew Allar in the third round, that the Pittsburgh Steelers knew or know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, and that he is delaying this announcement because he doesn't want to have to deal with the offseason training stuff.
Yeah, your teammates don't need you either.
Hey, well, listen, I'm not saying it's not flawed.
No, he should be there.
Of course he should be there. How well did the Pittsburgh Steelers do in the playoffs last year? Not well.
They lost in the wild card round.
Exactly. And I'm not saying it was because he wasn't there in the offseason. But going there and you have a new offensive lineman, you have new weapons in Michael Pittman Jr. You've got another new wide receiver in Jeremy Bernard. I would say that getting in there and getting familiar with your new weapons and being on time with these guys and working on routes and working on placement and working with a new head coach while you are familiar with Mike McCarthy's system, getting familiar with all of the newer players that you've brought in and everything else would be beneficial to Aaron Rodgers and this team. And not announcing until when you announced last year, which was June 5th of last year. If you wait until then, this year is not beneficial to the team.
Maybe Rodgers is just waiting for the NBA Finals to start. He waits till the second week of June to, once we get to the NBA Finals, I'll let the Steelers know. Why are you waiting until then?
I don't know.
Because in the next couple of weeks, they'll have the rookie mini camps. Off-season program has started.
Mm-hmm.
He should be there. So last night on NBC television, Mike Tomlin, former Steelers head coach, is now working for NBC. He is replacing Tony Dungy on the Football Night in America broadcast. So he'll be on the set with Maria Taylor. He'll be there with who's the coach from Dallas? Garrett?
Jason Garrett.
Mm-hmm. And then Devin McCourty, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the crew that they have. So last night on NBC's basketball broadcast, they introduced the newest member to their Football Night in America broadcast, and that's Mike Tomlin. And Tomlin talked about who he thinks the Steelers quarterback will be next season.
Man, if you got a gun to my head, I'd say it's AR. I just think, Aaron, being around him for the 12 months that I'm around him, he got a love affair with the game of football. And not only the game, but the process. Mm-hmm. The informal moments, the development of younger guys, the interaction with teammates. I think he has an addiction to that, and there's only one way to feed it. And certainly, he is still capable and in really good shape. And so I think at the end of the day, he'll play football.
So that was Mike Tomlin last night on NBC television talking with Maria Taylor, and he thinks if you put a gun to his head, it would be Aaron Rodgers because of the love affair Rodgers has with football. And I believe him, and I think that's true. I think we would have known at this point that Rodgers was retiring if that were the case.
I don't know if it would have changed the Steelers draft plan. I mean, we all knew that Mendoza was going first, and I think that the Rams surprised people by picking Ty Simpson at 13. I don't think that the Steelers would have traded up or anything like that to jump the Rams to take Ty Simpson. Carson Beck by Miami in the third round might have, with the first pick in the third round, maybe that changes something, but I doubt it because I don't think anybody thinks that Carson Beck is going to be more than a backup. Drew Allar might be someone that fits what Mike McCarthy thinks that he can develop into a future quarterback that could eventually take over for Aaron Rodgers. I thought it was going to be Garrett Nussmeier. I thought if Ty Simpson was available in the second round, maybe in the third round, I doubt he got to the third round, but if Ty Simpson was available where the Steelers were going to pick in the second round, that he would be the guy. But obviously the Rams took that decision away from everybody. So I thought it would either be Garrett Nussmeier or Drew Allar if it came to that. But my guy for them was Garrett Nussmeier, and he fell all the way to the seventh round, and the Steelers took Drew Allar, which leads me to believe that Aaron Rodgers is making this decision and has told them, yeah, I'll be there when I want to be. I'll be there when I feel like it. I'll be there for minicamp. I'll be there for training camp. I'll be there in July. I'm not playing in preseason games because I just don't. And I'll be there when I need to be there.
It sounds like he wants to be a part-time quarterback.
Well, he wants to be a full-time regular season quarterback, but he doesn't want to do any of the preseason stuff.
Right. And if we're being fair, we would rip someone like Lamar Jackson for this.
Yeah.
We would rip any other quarterback, Kyler Murray, right? The guys who have had questions in the past about focusing on football. Those players, right? The video games with Kyler Murray. Lamar Jackson doesn't want to be around the team. We call them out for that they should be there. I'm going to do the same to Aaron Rodgers. I know that he is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I know he's on the short list of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play the game. And no one knows better than the two of us who are long-suffering Chicago Bears fans. And all of those years where Aaron Rodgers was in the green and gold, where he was discount double-checking up and down Soldier Field because the Bears were terrible and he was great. Like, we've seen it, and I respect it, and he's one of the best. He should be there for his team, though, here in the offseason.
I 100% agree with you. But I think the reason we call out Lamar Jackson, and he was there, at least for the first portion.
This offseason, yes.
He was there for the first one.
In the past, there have been questions about Lamar Jackson.
He was there for the first one.
And there's been questions about Kyler Murray in the past as well.
If he's there for the second and the third one, and let's just see if he was there for the first one, okay? I'm not saying he won't be, but I want to see if he's there for all of them. I think that the difference is, if I had to make you pick today who's going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl or in the AFC Championship game, how many teams do you have to go before you pick the Steelers?
Ooh, it's probably like 9.
Okay.
I'm guessing off the top of my head.
Exactly. Like, I'm not going to be that critical of the Steelers.
Baltimore, Buffalo.
Okay.
I would go with Denver. I would go with New England.
Yep.
I would go with Cincinnati.
Okay.
I would then look to the Los Angeles Chargers.
So they're third in their own division.
So Los Angeles Chargers, the Houston Texans. Right, that's 7 right there.
They're third in their own division. How would Aaron Rodgers showing up today?
And that's without even bringing up Kansas City.
Exactly.
That's 8.
How would Aaron Rodgers showing up today change your opinion of that?
Well, okay. My opinion may not change, but you at least are showing your teammates that you're doing everything in your power for the team to get better for the season because you're up against it.
Of course.
I just rattled off 8 teams that we think could be title contenders in the AFC without mentioning Pittsburgh.
Agree, and I 100% agree with you. But Aaron Rodgers showing up today or last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever the OTAs were, doesn't change my opinion of how good this team is going to be. The Ravens improved. The Bengals improved. All these other teams around the Steelers have improved. And yes, the Steelers have gotten a little bit better. Pittman's a good addition. What they added in the draft is a good addition. The offensive lineman's a good addition. I like Jeremy Bernard a lot. I watched him at Alabama. I think he's a good pass-catching wide receiver. Like, I like what they added. But I don't think it's enough to even compete in there. Like, I don't even think they're winning their division. I think they can get a wild card spot, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back to win a Super Bowl. Like, he can think he is, but I don't think they're coming back to win a Super Bowl. They're not representing the AFC. They're not getting to an AFC championship game. They'll be lucky to get on a wild card weekend again.
Yeah, no, that's my point, and that's why he should be there. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Tomlin was on NBC, so he talked about it. He thinks that Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback for the Steelers this season. He also talked to Maria Taylor on when he decided to leave Pittsburgh for this offseason. Here's Tomlin.
You know, it's probably not an overnight decision, but it's probably not something that I could articulate or share with people. There's a loneliness with leadership. I just thought it was a good time for me personally, and by that I mean just where I am in life. And I thought it was a good time for the organization, to be quite honest with you. We didn't have a lot of success in the playoffs in recent years, and there's just some veteran players there, man, guys like Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt and Boswell, man, that I thought that were worthy of the excitement and the optimism associated with new leadership.
So there's Mike Tomlin. He also went on to say why he joined NBC and Football Night in America.
I just thought it'd be a great way to stay connected to the game and the awesome people in it. Players, coaches, executives, and excited about doing that on Sunday night and traveling to different venues and getting that feel for the environment. And lastly, you know, I just thought it'd be awesome to share insight with fellow football lovers. I love to talk football, and so that's just an exciting component for me. I got to admit, though, there's going to be some anxiety about stepping into a new space, but good anxiety. You know, it's good to be uncomfortable, the growth associated with that. And so, man, I'm fired up about it.
All right, so there's Mike Tomlin. Yeah, this is going to work.
Yeah, he's going to be
I remember back in January when this came up that he was leaving Pittsburgh, and I said that he should take the mantle and become America's coach, right? Like, that's what John Madden did. John Madden, for many generations, was America's coach. He was the one that taught us the game of football, whether if you watched on TV or if you played the video games. You know football, and you know more about football because of John Madden. Mike Tomlin is that charismatic, and he has the information, and he talked about the nerves, but he's going to deliver. He's going to be great, and he has an opportunity to become America's coach. Mm-hmm. That's what this is, and I think it's great, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great at it. I also think he knows what's going on in Pittsburgh, and I think that if they had a succession plan in place for the quarterback, that he'd be staying. And look, I think it's his own doing, right? And it's ownership's doing, and it's his own doing. He's such a good coach that they were never going to be under 500, right? Like, that's the whole thing. They were never under 500.
Yeah.
To their detriment.
Sure.
Right? And I made note, and you said it, like, why? Well, why would they? Walking around Pittsburgh for 3 days that we were there and seeing all the different jerseys, and they've got tons of historic players. They've got a billion Hall of Famers, right? And great players on their team right now. And I'm not kidding you. I'm not being hyperbolic. Did not see not a single Aaron Rodgers jersey or jersey, not on any kids, not on any adults, not on anything. Because, you know, kids usually want, like, the newest player, right?
Yeah,
like, kids want flavor of the week.
Yeah, the fun up and coming, the
want
new
flavor
players.
of the
Yeah,
week.
for sure. Aaron Rodgers is not that.
A single Aaron Rodgers jersey.
A little stale.
Not a single one. And I'll say, look, if I am a Steelers fan, and we didn't really ask Steelers fans what they want, if they want Aaron Rodgers.
No.
If I'm a Steelers fan, I might not want him to come back this year. Because if he doesn't, they're in the camp for Arch Manning, for Dante Moore, for one of these great quarterbacks that we're going to be hearing about starting this week and into the college football season. Because you're going to end up in the same situation you are now. is Rodgers coming back next year?
Yep.
Is Drew Allar ready? Or do you want to go out there
a bleak
and give
outlook.
Drew Allar a shot? And if he's good, cool. And if not, then you've got your future set up with your offensive line and your wide receivers, and you can draft Arch Manning or Dante Moore to come in and be set for it. If I'm a Steelers fan, I might not want Aaron Rodgers to show up this year. Decide no.
Yeah, I find it like with the enthusiasm that we saw in Pittsburgh for football and for just the NFL overall, I would find it hard to believe that Steelers fans would be okay tanking a season. They're like the one franchise in the NFL that's never bad.
But I feel like they're
Ever.
good.
When have the Steelers ever been bad?
I know that, but I feel like they're good enough football fans to see the light through the tunnel, to see the forest through the trees.
They're always going to be stuck on this hamster wheel of just being good enough to compete for like wild card range, but never bad enough to get a top level young quarterback.
Exactly. You have to see the forest through the trees, though. You have to be able to see what's on the other side. Drew Allar ain't it. He might be, but I don't think he is. And you might need to be able to say, hey, if we're bad for 1 year, just 1 year, look at what's on the other side.
When we go out into the future and we look back, what will the story of this year's NFL draft be? Bleck Abdalla, we will go one-on-one with Raj coming up next.
The Cardinals draft Carson Beck after a national title game run at Miami. Is the experienced pocket passer ready to be Arizona's quarterback of the future? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Hanging out with you each and every day, live from the city of Chicago. It's Bleck and Abdalla, noon to 3 Eastern, here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. It's now time to go out to parts unknown in Colorado, where we find Raj Sharon producing today's show. It's now time for one-on-one with Raj. Hello, Raj.
Hello, fellas.
Raj, it was great to hang with you
I
in
miss
Pittsburgh.
doing these in person.
I know.
Great time
it was
in
fun to do
Pittsburgh.
these in person. It was fun to eat SpaghettiO-flavored pizza with each other. That was a blast. My ankle is fully swollen. I think I told you guys I twisted my ankle on the walk back. It is a nice little half tennis ball at the moment. Great times in Pittsburgh.
Raj, be real with our listeners. Did you enjoy yourself?
I enjoyed a large part of the time there.
What?
However,
No, I just said that. I will leave the rest up to your
He doesn't
I
interpretation.
feel like every time Raj spends a little more time with us, he understands our relationship a little bit more. And he's like, what did I get myself into?
There are some aspects to that. There are some aspects to that. But in general, I consider you guys not just colleagues, but friends. And so that was all.
Oh, that's nice, Raj. All right, what's your number one observation of the two of us when you're with us? Come on, let it
man,
rip.
this
Let's
is
go.
going to...
One-on-one. Putting you on the spot.
One-on-one for
Come
Raj
on, let's
now.
go, Raj. We're playing D. Let's go.
All right. You asked for it. I'm going to give it to you. You guys are very... What's the way I would put it? You're into the finer things of life a little bit more than maybe I would have expected before I was around you a little bit.
Finer things.
Finer things.
Yeah.
I had $6 pizza. I loved it. That's my stuff. I almost said a swear
Yeah,
word.
how did your partner
We're
feel
mad
about
at the
that
people.
$6 pizza?
I loved it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Things.
Hey, no, don't drag me into this, Raj. I loved it. I wanted to go back.
Wait. Explain you can't say that and not have finer things. Explain this to me.
I'm
gonna sit this one out.
describe. No, Abdalla, you are not sitting this one out. Do not lean back in your chairs. I'm looking on
I'm sitting
YouTube.
out.
No,
Sitting out.
you guys are you're into the finer things in life. It's not a negative. It's just something majority, we've all been doing this a long time. A lot of the sports talk guys have been around. There's an everyman quality to them.
Wow,
There's
Roger's saying we're not everymen.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about this?
And
Not everymen.
For example, all right, since we've opened Pandora's box,
Yes.
I can remember at one point when we were walking, I can't remember where we were walking, and I think it was Bleck had the line of, man, this is fun in Pittsburgh. This is a nice little city.
Yeah.
And I remember, it's a nice little, and I
It was
remember
definitely
thinking
Bleck.
it.
Yeah.
It was definitely Bleck. I was like, nice little city. I was like, I wonder how people in Pittsburgh would feel about their little city right now.
But it's small. Raj, we come from a metropolis.
Chicago.
And that's
I
it.
mean,
Boom,
you only
nailed it.
have New York that's bigger.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Come on
you
now.
nailed it. You nailed it. And so I just remember thinking that. I was like, I mean, I'm pretty tired walking around. It seems pretty sizable as we're walking here. But compared to these guys, they're from major Chicago. Big guy, used to the good food, the good pizza, tavern style. Can't have right? Is that
hold on.
tavern
When
pizza?
you bring up pizza, I mean, you're not going to find better. Than Chicago.
You're not going to get.
What are we doing?
Yeah,
Listen, pizza by the slice here is a little
Raj,
different.
we don't argue with
story.
your.
Here's the big one. Of all of them, though, I went to get you guys waters at one point.
Yes.
And I remember being so relieved when I opened up the refrigerator that there weren't Dasani, because I was like, I know
that's
these guys
different. Who
are big
likes
fans of
Dasani?
Dasani water.
Come on,
Who
Raj.
likes Dasani? They put salt in the water so you get thirstier.
You see the videos of there's a hurricane coming to town, and then they show the stock footage of the Walmart, and there's just cases and cases of Dasani there, and all the other water is gone. You know that.
They
Come on
make
now.
you thirstier.
First of all, and that
It
was
was not
Abdalla
Dasani,
that
by
had
the way.
the
It was
issue
not
with the
Dasani.
water.
I have no issues with any water. I have no issues
I
with
think
any
we had
water.
Aquafina, so I was like,
Yeah,
okay, I think we're
Aquafina's
good.
great.
It's good. I'd say this, Raj. If you want to call us out for the pizza, that's fine. We don't call you out for your weed and the snow. I mean, those are two things that Colorado brings to the table, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I'm no expert on the first one. I would have to have Abdalla chime in on that one. I
didn't
can't
get
really
to
speak to that.
I didn't get to sample any of Pittsburgh's wares when it came to that.
And to the
It's
snow,
a small city, though.
to the snow,
I don't even
you
know if
guys
it's legal there.
would speak to it better than me. And I think I told you guys this, that's like an actual line. Oh, you're from Colorado, you ski? No, I don't ski. I'm from Colorado. It's people from Chicago who come here and ski. People from here don't do that.
Oh, okay.
You know,
It's like deep dish pizza.
Yeah. It's like deep dish
We
pizza.
don't
for you
eat
guys
deep
in
dish.
Chicago. You don't eat it.
Yeah.
People here don't ski. It's
Something for
everybody comes from
tourists.
other places. It's for tourists.
I got you.
That makes
All
sense.
right, Raj. That's good times.
Way to go one-on-one, guys.
Man, Raj doesn't think we're everymen. All right, one-on-one.
He
Let's
doesn't
do
think
it.
you're an everyman.
But he lumps you into this as well.
No, I'm still an everyman. I got my coffee from across the street. I didn't need to go 10 minutes down the road to find a Starbucks.
Oh, I forgot about the coffee. Oh, gosh, that was fun.
See,
What about the
see,
coffee?
Raj, who's an everyman now?
Hold on.
Who's
What
an
about the
everyman
coffee?
now? Who's
I
an
just
everyman
ordered
now?
it on my phone and went and picked it
Who's
up.
an everyman now? I just went closest in proximity, right across the street.
How'd that go for you?
It was great. It was delicious coffee.
Yeah?
They had a great breakfast sandwich and a great cinnamon scone.
I mean, they had a coffee pot
My
in the
guys, they're
room.
awesome. Those are my boys.
Good.
Those are my boys.
That's great.
We had coffee pots in our rooms. Like, you could have just made some in your room.
I didn't know that those.
You sure you didn't get charged for that?
I didn't know that those.
Raj?
See, here's the thing.
Raj,
I
you-
never.
you
I'm not,
putting-
I'm not a
putting-
coffee guy, though. I'm not a coffee guy, so I
See,
didn't
I
drink it, but I saw
never
it there.
trust anything. I barely trust the bottles of water they give us in the room, and don't think I'm going to get charged like $20 per bottle.
Yeah,
I never.
I usually don't touch anything that's in the room.
I never trust
Yeah,
that I'm not
that's
going to
a
get
good play.
charged for it. You know, that's
That's a
not
good
an
play.
everyman thing. That's just I'm going to get charged
Jeez.
$50 for a bottle of water
Not an
in the
everyman.
room.
All right, guys.
All right, Raj.
As we go one-on-one, long into the future, I'm not asking about this season. So, like, 15 years from now, we're going to look back on the 2026 draft. It'll be remembered for Fernando Mendoza or someone else, Abdalla. Fernando or the field, who's this draft going to be remembered for 15 years from now?
The field. Because I think the field involves Jeremiah Love, who could be a generational type player, whether it's for Arizona or someone else. Like, his first contract is obviously with Arizona, but it doesn't mean he has to stick with Arizona. He could go on, like, look at Christian McCaffrey. He could go on to play with someone else and be a future Hall of Famer with another team. There's also the Ty Simpson aspect of where and when does he end up playing? Does he end up being like a Trey Lance who is just, he's just not good and doesn't end up playing, being a starter anywhere, and it was just a busted pick? Or is he the heir apparent to Matthew Stafford? So I'm going to go with the field because I think that there are way more storylines that could play out rather than Mendoza, who, look, the Raiders' track record is not good. Like, the odds say that Mendoza and the Raiders are going to be bad. Like, I'm not hoping for that, but the track record would say the Raiders are going to screw this up. So I think we're going to look at Jeremiah Love as being a generational type player.
I'm going to say the rest of the field, but I'm going to point it back to the quarterbacks. I think what we'll remember from this year's draft is that none of them are very good, and that's including Mendoza. He might, at best, be like the 15th best quarterback in the NFL at his peak. That's not great when you're selected number 1 overall. Yeah. And I don't really think any of these guys, Ty Simpson, Drew Allar, Garrett Nussmeier, any of them will really turn out to be anything special. So I think the story years down the road will be, hey, remember that draft where there were no quarterbacks and the best guy that was taken turned into Kirk Cousins 2.0? I think that's going to be the story. I lean a little towards what Abdalla was pointing to with Jeremiah Love, because I think it could be a situation where we look back and say, that's why you don't take a running back in the top 5.
It could be.
Or, in the positive light, hey, take that running back because he's turned into a Hall of Fame level player.
Yeah.
So that might be a storyline, but Raj, I think it's really going to be about the quarterbacks and how they're not very good this year.
Well, let's stay on those quarterbacks with the next question, Bleck. The rookie quarterback who will have the most pass attempts this year. I'm not talking long-term like the first question. So just this year as a rookie, the rookie quarterback who will throw the most passes in regular season games. Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Carson Beck, Drew Allar, or another rookie quarterback, Bleck?
I'm going to go Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck has a chance to start from day 1. And if that's the case, we're just talking about numbers of pass attempts. Not saying he's going to be good, but for some reason, the Raiders want to have an artificial suppression on playing their quarterback. So if that's the case, I'm going to go with Carson Beck. That's the answer.
I will say this because I've said this before. It's not artificial. It's just suppression. They're
artificial.
They're not artificially. It's not. It's just
artificial.
It's just suppression. It's not artificial. It's just suppression. I've said it to you, and I've said it before.
It's artificial
to others.
suppression.
It's just suppression. Oh man, I think it would be hilarious content if it was Drew Allar, because if after all this, you've got Aaron Rodgers that's just like, nah, I'm good. I saw who you guys drafted. I've seen the Trey Hendrickson move.
I'm out.
I've seen the other moves. I've seen the Dexter Lawrence move. I'm good. I'm gonna stay at home. I'm gonna do some ayahuasca and stay at home. I'm good. Carson Beck would be interesting because the full tank, and I love the Carson Beck experience, would be a less fun experience because he is going to throw more interceptions than touchdowns. Like, it's a less fun Jameis Winston experience because Jameis is just fun, and Carson Beck is just like, oh, that's sad. Like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this for Cardinals fans. But I kind of agree with you. It might be Carson Beck. He might actually win that job. And if he does, the not artificial, the just actual suppression of Fernando Mendoza and not having him start until he's ready, week 5 or 6 or whenever after their bye is, it might be Carson Beck. I'm going to have to agree with Chris.
All right, Abdalla, next up, but we all knew the narrative around the Cowboys last year. They were the Alice Cowboys. No D. They could score, but they couldn't stop anybody. So I ask you, with Christian Parker coming in as their new defensive coordinator, they had some free agent pickups in the secondary. Then they had draft night where they added Caleb Downs. Have the Cowboys done enough to improve their defense? The Cowboys have or have not done enough to improve that defense, Abdalla?
I don't know if they have. I don't understand where I'm seeing all of these analysts saying that the Cowboys are all of a sudden going to win the East and the Cowboys are going to be this contender in the NFC. I don't understand how you go from the worst defense, one of the worst defenses in the conference, and to all of a sudden the best by adding Rashawn Gary, Quinnen Williams, and a couple draft picks. Like, you're good. You're good. I'm not saying you're not better. But, like, Caleb Downs has to hit, and Rashawn Gary has to be good. And, like, I'm not saying you're not going to be better. I just don't think you're going to be best. Like, the Eagles still have a better defense. I still think the Giants' defense is better than the Cowboys' defense. You still have the third best defense in your own division. So, I think they've done more But this is more than just a one-off season fix for the Cowboys.
Did you guys also see the tweet put out there by Todd Archer, who covers the Cowboys, that George Pickens has not yet signed his franchise tag tender with the Cowboys?
Correct.
Okay.
Easy there.
What did I tell you?
Easy.
He's not going to play for the Cowboys this season.
So I don't think they're...
He's going to force a trade.
I don't think they're great just yet. I don't think they have like I just said, third best defense in your own division.
Raj, I disagree. I think they have improved. I think their defense, being able to spend your first 3 draft picks, 2 firsts and a third, on defensive players, and one of those players being Caleb Downs, who we had multiple experts on this show tell us was the best player in this year's draft. Rashawn Gary, I think, will add. Jadeveon Clowney is still unsigned, so he's out there. Maybe they bring him back. He led the team in sacks last season. So I do think the Cowboys have improved defensively. And if that's the case, yeah, they could certainly win the NFC East. No doubt.
Disagree.
Raj?
All right, guys, let's go to another team, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm grouping in what they did before the draft as well, like signing Kenneth Walker. Eric Bieniemy is back as their offensive coordinator. Then in the draft, they make the big move up to get Mansour Delane. The Chiefs did or did not do enough this offseason to return to elite status in 2026. Bleck?
They did not. They are no longer that in the NFL. Now, they need Mahomes to be healthy. If he is, they have a chance at the wild card. But they are not an elite team in the AFC. Last year with Mahomes as a starter, they were 500 before he got hurt. And then things fell apart at the end of the season. So they are not an elite team.
I still think, you've got Kenneth Walker, you've got Rashee Rice, you've got Xavier Worthy. Travis Kelce is old. I don't know if you have enough offense.
He's old.
He's old. I mean, you've got it. You added a ton on defense. Mansour Delane, Peter Woods, R. Mason Thomas in the first 2 rounds. You added a ton of defense in the first 2 rounds. And moving up for Mansour Delane is great. And adding the 2 players on your defensive line is awesome. But I don't know if they've done enough on offense, which is weird to say. Like, I just don't know if they have. Relying on just saying Mahomes is just going to get the guys the ball. You need playmakers. And yeah, Kenneth Walker's a great playmaker, but I remember hearing Chris Collinsworth say he can't catch and he can't block.
Yeah.
But he can sure as hell run.
He can run. He can run the rock.
And I just think they needed to address more on offense. Raj?
And finally, guys, wheeling and dealing, Howie Roseman of the Eagles did it again over draft weekend. I ask you, Abdalla, Howie is or is not the best GM in the National Football League?
We have one of our good friends is a diehard Eagles fan, and I was texting with him.
The guy
back
at the
and
pizza
forth.
place? Oh, no, it's a different guy.
No, not the guy at the pizza place, a different guy. I actually told him about the guy at the pizza place. And I was texting back and forth with him saying, my God, the things I would give up for Howie Roseman to be the GM of my football team. Because just when you think, oh, they're drafting a wide receiver, they moved up for a wide receiver, and they're drafting a tight end and an offensive lineman, and what are they going to do about this defense? Oh, they just traded for Jonathan Greenard? Okay. You gave him new money automatically, and already walked in with a new contract.
New paper.
And walked in with a new contract.
New paper.
You want to talk about winning the weekend and not even through the entire draft. It is Howie Roseman is the best GM in the NFL, hands down. He is playing 4D chess, and the rest of us are playing checkers. It is insane how good he is at this. And A.J. Brown is going to be gone at 12:0001 a.m. on July 2nd or June 2nd when he can be. And Mekhi Lemon is the writing on the wall for that. And they might not win another Super Bowl this year, but at least they make every move possible to try to do that and reload every single year.
Okay, so there's 3 names that jump out to me when you talk about the best GM in the NFL. I think, Abdalla gave us a nice sermon there on why Howie Roseman is the best. I think Brett Veach for the Kansas City Chiefs is in that conversation. And I think Les Snead is in the conversation, GM for the Los Angeles Rams. Before this weekend, I would have said...
Is he still in it after the Ty Simpson pick, Chris?
I would have said Les Snead was the number one guy before this weekend. But I still don't get the Ty Simpson angle. So by default, I think you have to put Howie Roseman 1, Snead 2, Veach 3.
Yeah.
So
And
those
that
are
does it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it for one-on-one today, guys. Thanks.
We will get back on our high horses.
Yeah, geez. Thank you, Raj. We had artificial suppression.
Nope.
And the finer things in life.
Just
the
suppression.
Bleck and Abdalla show. You know us. We're about the finer things in life.
Bleck and Abdalla, pinkies out.
Jeez. Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers and Brandon Aiuyk? John Lynch talked about him. We'll play that coming up next.
The draft is over, but the phone lines are still active. The NFC East has already made a litany of moves. Now the question becomes, who's next to be traded? George Pickens or A.J. Brown? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show on YouTube. On draft night, we talked to, 15 players backstage. Night one of the draft, we talked to David Bailey, Ruben Bain Jr., Mansour Delane, Caleb Downs, Mekhi Lemon, Jeremiah Love, Francis Maui-Noah, Caden Proctor, Arvell Reese, Ty Simpson, Sonny Styles, Carnell Tate, Dylan Thieneman, all joined us, and it's all right there on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Bleck and Abdalla Show is a great time. Night one of the draft. Videos of all of those conversations are right there on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great to talk to all those guys right after they walked the stage and got to shake hands and hug Roger Goodell and fulfill their lifelong dream of being drafted, and then they get to come to talk to us.
Oh, yes. What a pleasure.
Complete 180 from that dream.
Yeah, there some of the good conversations though with a couple of them. Caden Proctor, Francis Maui-Noah, Jeremiah Love, some of the great conversations. Ty Simpson, Dylan Thieneman, we're Chicago Bears fans, so we got to talk to Thieneman.
That was cool, yeah.
As he was just selected by our favorite team. So it's all up there on the YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. We will continue with the winners and losers of the NFL draft in about 12 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. San Francisco, I've seen in multiple places, fall into the, quote, loser category of the way that they handled the NFL draft. And they also have out there that there is no solution to Brandon Aiuyk at this time with the 49ers. Let's take a listen. John Lynch, GM of the 49ers, with an update on Aiuyk.
No new update right now.
Good.
We're available. Give us a call. And, like I said earlier, I think it's the prudent thing to do. He's an extremely talented player. He's been an extremely effective player in our league. Situation didn't work itself out here. That's not to say that it can't be rekindled somewhere else. And we'd be happy to do something with anyone if the opportunity presented itself.
Nice answer, John Lynch. No new update, but we would look into helping him if we could. There you go.
You can. Release him. Release him. And
they want something back for him. That's why they're not.
Everyone knows he's not going to be a 49er. No one is going to trade you for him because everyone knows you don't want him on the team. So just release him at this point because you're doing yourself no favors. Like, you're going to keep getting asked about this every time. You're going to keep getting asked questions and questions and questions. Just release the player. Is it starting to look bad? Just release the player at this point.
Now it's starting to look bad?
It already looks bad. But I would say just if you want to do what's best for you and the team and the player, just release. Because what are you going to... The only offers you're going to be getting are 7th rounders.
Yeah, because teams know you're not going to use them.
Okay, so you get something, but at the same time... Just at this point, just release him so he can sign. And the Commanders are rumored for a landing spot. So just release him and let him sign somewhere else so he can get into training camp and get into the offseason program and go about his business. And you can be done with this.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. All right, Abdalla, explain this one to me.
Yeah.
Headline from the New York Post. And no, it doesn't have to do with Mike Vrabel. Headline is this. Florida pastor who wrote book on how to love your spouse was arrested over allegations he has multiple wives.
Did you not?
So he wrote a book on how to love your spouse.
Yeah.
He has multiple wives.
Yeah.
He was arrested. He was arrested in the Villages. You know the Villages down in Florida?
Yeah.
You know, the wacky...
oh, yeah, it's a cult.
I don't know if it's necessarily that, but it's... They have the parade of the golf carts,
the golf carts,
and all the political flags on it, right?
Yeah,
that's the Villages, right?
It's not a cult, but yeah, you know what I mean.
It's down there.
So, yeah, well, I mean, listen, if anybody's going to know how to love your spouse, it's someone with multiple spouses,
right?
And polygamy is illegal in this country.
Is
at
it
least.
Really?
Did you wait? Hold on a second, everybody.
I'm reading the story.
Time out, everybody. Stop. Did you not know that polygamy is illegal?
They said they arrested him near his house in the rumored swingers paradise,
Hold on.
Villages.
Stop reading. Look at me. Did you not know that polygamy was illegal in this country?
I thought it was frowned upon.
Frowned upon? Did you not like all the stuff, the Mormon
I
stuff in
know.
Utah and everything?
Well,
did you not know?
I thought they were causing other crimes alongside.
No.
I didn't know the crime was having multiple wives. I didn't know that.
Polygamy is illegal in this country.
Did not know that.
And I say in this country because I've lived in countries where it's not illegal.
How'd that go?
I mean, not well for my uncle.
So you have experience of watching
I have
him struggle
experience
to
of
juggle
watching
multiple wives.
I have experience of watching this firsthand.
Yeah,
and
I'll fully admit here on national radio, I was unaware that it was illegal to have multiple wives.
Yeah.
I thought that the crimes that went along with what happened.
What crimes?
Well, there's bad stuff.
Yes, I understand
There's
that.
bad stuff.
Yes,
I didn't know the act of having multiple wives was something.
You can't just go out and say to Autumn and be like, guess what?
I'm not interested in that.
But I'm just saying, you can't just go to Autumn and be like, guess what? I found another.
Well, of course, that's not going to work.
And now I'm going to have two. Can this work out?
That's too much coordination. That is way too many texts being sent back and forth. It's too much
it's a group text.
How's your day? This whole stuff. No, I can't juggle
text.
more than one at a time. That's not.
Even if you could, you can't. So it's illegal.
So the reason this pastor was arrested was because he has multiple wives, which is illegal. News to me. Did not know that was the case.
Yes, it's illegal.
I didn't know that.
No matter the other things that are illegal, the initial charge is polygamy.
No embezzlement, no racketeering, nothing like that.
No, polygamy.
I didn't know that.
First charge, polygamy, guilty.
I didn't honestly, I did not know that.
And then the other things.
Then the other things on top. It's Bleck Abdalla. We will grade the draft, the winners and losers. Which team won? We'll talk about it next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago. We're on the air until 3 Eastern, and then we'll hand it off to Jim Rome right here on Westwood One Sports. The call or text line is at 310-840-4910. Who do you think won the NFL draft? You can text us at 310-840-4910. Abdalla, as we sit here looking back on our time in Pittsburgh over the weekend, covering the NFL draft, to me, no doubt, the number one team on my winner list, the New York Football Giants. I love what they were able to do in the first round, securing Arvell Reese and Francis Mauigoa. And I think also adding Colton Hood to the mix with their second round pick. I just love the way the Giants approached the NFL draft this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the Giants are certainly a team that you can add and put up there at the top with what they did. I think that they're having Arvell Reese, quote, fall to them. I think that because the Cardinals took Jeremiah Love at 3, David Bailey was clearly the best edge rusher out there. So the Jets taking him at 2 is not a surprise. And then the Cardinals taking Jeremiah Love at 3, not really was a surprise. That was kind of rumored for the last week or so leading up to the draft. And then the Titans had to make a decision. Do they take the next best edge rusher, or do they take a weapon for Cam Ward? Do they want a young receiver to kind of learn and come up with quarterback Cam Ward? They decided to go that route, and they took Carnell Tate, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. That left the Giants with the second best edge rusher in Arvell Reese. They decided to go that route. So it kind of made the decision easy for them.
Yep.
So they took Arvell Reese, and then they took, like you said, Francis Mauigoa with their second pick in the top 10. And then Colton Hood in the second round had first-round talent. He was one of the prospects that was in attendance, so he was anticipated to go in the first round. And I thought they also got another good wide receiver out of Notre Dame. Malachi Fields, I think, is a good wide receiver in the third round with the 10th pick in the third round. I also think the Dallas Cowboys did a really good job in the draft with their selections. You know, Caleb Downs kind of falling to them at 11. They traded up one spot for him, flipping their picks with Miami.
It was a surprise he was available at 11.
Yeah, going into the draft, we talked to a bunch of draft analysts that said he and Jeremiah Love were the 2 best prospects just based on talent and athletic ability. So him being there outside the top 10 was a little bit surprising, and the Cowboys pounced on that and getting him. And then also Malachi Lawrence, the edge rusher out of UCF, and then Jayshon Bram, the edge rusher out of Michigan. Those picks in the first 3 rounds I thought were great by them. And then the Eagles, the whole NFC East, I think, had a great draft. If you look at what the Eagles did, and Mekhi Lemon out of USC, them moving up for Mekhi Lemon, getting him as a wide receiver. We presume the replacement for A.J. Brown when they move on from A.J. Brown after June 1st. Getting Eli Sowers out of Vanderbilt, the tight end, who's a great pick. Getting Markel Bell, an offensive tackle, out of Miami. And then on day 2, trading a later pick in this year's draft and then a pick in the 2027 draft for Jonathan Greenard, the edge rusher, and giving him an extension.
Yeah.
So you give new paper to an edge rusher. You're saying, oh, this is unlike Howie Roseman. He's drafting a wide receiver, drafting a tight end, drafting an offensive tackle, drafting a quarterback out of North Dakota State, Cole Payton, in the 5th round. What is he doing? Oh, I know what he's doing. He's trading for Jonathan Greenard, the edge rusher from Minnesota, and giving him a $100 million contract extension, and the Eagles win the weekend once again.
You know, I saw on the flip side, Minnesota was graded poorly. You know, Mel Kiper Jr. on ESPN.com, he's nice. He's a good grader. I think the lowest grade someone got was a C, right? Like he's not handing out D's and F's. Mel is just giving you nice grades for participating in the draft. But Minnesota was on the list of teams that graded out poorly. San Francisco. I saw Indianapolis as well as a team that didn't have a great draft. Another team that I like what Cleveland did. I liked Cleveland going Spencer Fano, offensive tackle from Utah, with the 9th pick in the first round. I also like Casey Concepcion from the Texas A&M wide receiver. Denzel Boston, wide receiver from Washington. So your first 3 picks, 2 wide receivers and an offensive tackle to add to an offense that needs help. Now, Cleveland doesn't know what they're going to do with quarterback. So that's going to be a story to watch here in this offseason. We were told by Andrew Berry that they thought that a 4th quarterback could be in the mix. And the Cleveland Browns in the 6th round select Talon Green, quarterback from Arkansas. So he will be thrown into the mix with Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, and Deshaun Watson. So they have bodies.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of them are any good, but at least they are trying to improve on the offensive side. And I like the 2 wide receivers selected in the 1st and the 2nd round. And I also like the tackle selected in the 1st round as well. So I think Cleveland also with a very nice draft this year.
Yeah, I like the safety they took out of Toledo too, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. He had, first round grades. He goes late in the second round. So another good pick for the Cleveland Browns. They just have to put this together, right? Like if you have the wide receivers, you have the offensive tackle, like you mentioned, you have to have the quarterback right. Now, if they're bad enough, their defense certainly is ready to win. But if their offense doesn't keep up, they will be bad enough to reset the quarterback's position next year.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson will be off the books next year. He'll be gone. This is the last year their money is tied to him, at least real money.
Okay,
There'll be
but
dead money.
let me throw this out there. Mm-hmm. Is this worst case scenario if Todd Monken shows up and says, I'm selecting Deshaun Watson to be my starting quarterback, and he plays well? The money comes off the books, but you're going to have to pay him again.
Not necessarily.
Well, you're not going
think.
to let him walk if he plays well.
What are the odds that Deshaun Watson actually plays well?
What are the odds that one of the other quarterbacks beats him out?
I mean, we've seen what Deshaun Watson has been able to do the last few times he's stepped on the field after a prolonged absence, whether it was suspension or injury.
He's not the same player.
He's not.
So he's not as good as he used to be, but he's competent.
I don't know, man.
And isn't that the same level of play that we're essentially seeing from Shedeur Sanders at the end of last season? Competent.
And it wasn't good enough, though.
Like, I know people on social media, they'll tweet graphics. So, Shedeur's the man. Look, it's his time or whatever. He puts his wrist up, points to the watch thing. Like, cool. That's a great social post. But can the kid play? And he can't really play. It's the truth.
Yeah. I think that when we get to next season, that guy with all the names on his jersey is going to be putting a new name on his jersey.
For the Browns,
Yeah.
the fan,
Yeah.
the fan with the list of names.
Yeah.
We didn't see him. Of all the different fans and jerseys that we saw in Pittsburgh,
Didn't see Jersey guy.
We did not see sad Cleveland Brown jersey guy.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh, we saw a lot of great jerseys.
I think they'll have him
Tons of
on
jerseys.
I think that they'll have him on stage when they draft a quarterback top 5 next year.
Another quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So they have selected 3 quarterbacks in the last 2 years, which, if you're trying to fix the problem, you are pouring a lot of resources into said problem. I think you could also look at the balance of that and say, on the flip side, you're wasting picks where you could have usable players added to your roster. Now, I know this year the 6th rounder, all right, that's a lotto ticket.
Yeah,
Usually 6th rounders are not making the 53 on game day. But with that said, you burned 2 draft picks last year, and then you took another quarterback this year, and you have a guy who's a vet who you're paying. So it's a mess for the Cleveland Browns, but they're at least throwing resources to it, and I like that they addressed the offensive line and the wide receivers to hopefully help whoever the quarterback is.
Last year's way more egregious, using 2 picks on guys that you think could be starters, like Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, and you're going to have a competition between them and Deshaun Watson. The problem is Taylon Green, 6th round. What you hear about the talent in this year's draft, a 6th round pick this year in next year's draft is like, I know this round doesn't exist, is like an 8th round pick next year, like he's not even going to be drafted.
Yep.
So Taylon Green is an absolute lottery pick. He might not even make the practice squad. Like, this is a situation where this guy is lucky to make the roster. So you just took a flyer on him in the 6th with the first pick in the 6th round. Okay, maybe he's around, maybe he's not. Like, by the time we got to the 4th round in this draft, teams weren't even using the full clock. They were just like, yeah, we want this guy. Yeah, we want this guy. Because guys that they knew were going to be there, they were just picking because in their draft cloud, we're still there. So they were just selecting because what we talked about with draft analysts was happening. This draft isn't as strong, and teams had already done their homework, and they were set on certain guys, and those guys were available. And so they just drafted, and my theory of Mike Vrabel not being around for the final day of the draft didn't really matter because the Patriots have already set, and they were just picking dudes.
We'll see.
And there were conflicting sources about whether they were in communication with him or not on that final day of the draft on Saturday.
It did feel like, you're right, it did feel like some teams, we've all been in the fantasy baseball league, right? Like fantasy baseball, NFL, fantasy football. And you have the one friend. And I'm like this because I'll participate, but it gets boring. After like an hour and a half of this, as people are taking the entire clock to figure out their pick, eventually you start to see more and more go to the auto draft, right? Like you get your 2 starting wide receivers, your running back, your quarterback, your tight end. Maybe you grab a defense, and then you just say, all right, auto draft to fill out the rest of the team for your fantasy football team.
Yeah.
Like that's what this year's draft kind of felt like, is when you got to the later rounds, teams were just clicking the button to go autopilot.
It started in the 4th round. It started late in the 3rd, I felt like. It started it would be blank is on the clock, blank the pick is in. Because teams just had guys in mind, and the Jaguars were drafting, analysts had the players that the Jaguars were drafting in the 2nd round outside of the top 150.
Yeah. I mean, there's also, to me, an observation overall on the league is that there are multiple teams right now that instead of drafting best player available, they are drafting very specific skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is they are drafting a speedster wide receiver, no matter what his draft grade is.
Yeah.
Coming into the draft, they're selecting, or
Bears.
Well, I mean, and I think, we are in Chicago and we are both Chicago Bears fans. I'll say this, the quick thought on the draft last night, or the quick thought on the weekend, is that this feels very boom or bust for the Chicago Bears.
What are you doing?
There's a lot where it feels like Ryan Poles was just replacing players who left in this last offseason. So he was just replacing the players that just left the team. And then also taking flyers on guys way too early with the idea that they are going to fill a very specific role. Spending 3rd-round picks on a blocking 3rd-string tight end and then a possible 3rd or 4th wide receiver who his objective is to be a kick returner, who's a speedster. It feels very boom or bust. It's either this class is going to have 4 or 5 guys who are starters and very vital pieces to the Chicago Bears moving forward, or you're going to see Dylan Thieneman be like the only guy, and then Logan, the center, be like the only 2 guys that turn out to be starters for this team.
Yeah, and they traded for a center earlier this year to replace when their center decided to just go up and
retire.
Yeah. Drew Dahlman just go out and retire, and that's fine. You can do that and draft your center for the future, and obviously that's got Ben Johnson written all over it. I understand that, but ask any Bears fan, ask any Bears person.
We need edge.
What's your biggest
edge
need?
Rusher.
Defensive lineman.
We need help on the defensive line.
Tackles, defensive linemen, whatever you need.
Come on.
They didn't draft a defensive tackle until their last pick in the 6th round. And yes, they traded 2 7th-rounders up to get that last pick in the 6th round. But still, you didn't draft a defensive lineman until your last pick in the 6th round.
I'm also the type of person, like, I don't know. You got to be a hell of a safety to take a safety with a 1st-round pick.
Everybody says, I can't believe he was there. I can't believe all that.
And he might be good.
Thieneman might be awesome.
Caleb Downs, to me, is the only safety that you actually should be drafting in the 1st round.
Logan Jones might be a guy that you might be able to plug in there in a year or halfway through this year, and I might never hear his name for the next 15 years, and that's awesome, and I hope to, because that's what you want from offensive linemen. That's great. But for a team that was a Caleb Williams interception, a play or 2 away from making it to an NFC championship game, that I know they played great defense in that game, and if you're not a Bears fan and you just watched that game, you're like, what are you guys talking about? Their defense was great in that game. The Bears led the league in come from behind wins in the final 2 minutes of games for a reason, because their defense was god awful. And just relying on the guys that you have to just get it or to come back from injury is relying on a hell of a lot.
Yeah, it is. Last night I was on local TV, Fox 32 Chicago, and we were all asked the question, are the Bears better today than they were at the start of the weekend? And I would say, yeah,
Yes.
From the draft class, the Bears are better than they were heading into the draft. With that said, I don't think the Bears are better today than they were when the season ended losing to the Rams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, I think the team that lost in the playoffs was a better roster than what the Bears are currently constructed as after the NFL draft. So did they get better over the weekend? Yes. I also don't think this team is better than where they were when they were eliminated in the playoffs to the Los Angeles Rams.
Did you see what Matt Miller said about the Bears and his thing?
Matt Miller said that on ESPN.com that this is the draft that will put the Bears over to get to the Super Bowl. Like I said, it feels very boom or bust. It's either these dudes are not going to be on an NFL roster in 4 years, or you're going to have Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears hoisting Lombardi trophies, which Raj cannot wait to get to that stage of this show where the best team in football will be based out of Chicago. So we can't wait for that.
I like the Bears, though. I'm more confident on it than you guys were. I picked the Bears to be in the Super Bowl next year, and you guys laughed at me.
Well, but it goes back.
Bears.
It goes back to the assessment. The team today is not better than what they were at the end of last season.
Yeah.
End of story. That's it.
But so, I'm counting on a level up for Caleb Williams. Like, that's why I'm projecting that. I think.
And honestly, and as we project out to the summer and we get to the football season, that's got to be one of the biggest storylines of the year.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how good can Caleb Williams be this upcoming season is going to be one of the top stories nationally for everyone to follow in the NFL this upcoming season. He is someone that was talked about at the draft. Like, everywhere we go, the Super Bowl week, the NFL draft, hell, even at the Final Four, people were asking us about Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
He is on the verge of becoming a superstar. And yeah, if Raj is right, if he is that, then sure, it could make up for these other items, and maybe it's not as much boom or bust because you need a specialist speedster fourth wide receiver who's also a kick return guy that you drafted in the third round. To me, it feels very luxurious to go and use a third round draft pick on something like that. So Mel Kiper on ESPN.com, his winners, Cleveland Browns, Dallas Cowboys, Las Vegas Raiders, Philadelphia Eagles. The teams they graded with the C's, he had Jacksonville, Minnesota, and San Francisco.
Hey, C's get degrees, but I don't know if they're going to win any championships.
You know, we had Chad Ryder on the show a couple weeks ago to preview the NFL draft. Chad Ryder also gave out grades for the NFL draft. His A's were the Cardinals and the Bills. The lowest grade he handed out, the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons. I don't think, to me, the Atlanta Falcons didn't have the worst draft in the they didn't have a first round pick because obviously
not good.
That went to I think they would have done a better job than the Rams did with it. I don't think they're taking Ty Simpson.
Oh.
Are they taking Ty Simpson with that first pick?
Probably not. No.
But they traded it away because they're bad at trades and
they're bad at trades.
They're bad at trades and Ty Simpson is a Ram because of it. And the rest of their picks, yeah, you got a cornerback in the second round. In the third round, you added Zachariah Branch from Georgia, who I think is a good wide receiver. But overall, it just doesn't seem like they added much of their needs. I think the worst one, to me, the worst was the Jags. The Jags, to me, had the worst draft. You picked two players in the second and third. Now, they didn't have a first-round pick, but you picked two players in the second and third rounds out of Texas A&M, the defensive tackle and the tight end, that were projected outside of the top 150.
Ugh. Can I also ask you this question in regards to the NFL draft?
Yeah.
What's going on with the Baltimore Ravens? You see their owner made a pick?
Yeah.
He made a fifth-round pick?
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, I mean, he owns the team.
Yeah, but let the football people football.
It's a fifth-rounder.
Well, what are we doing here, Ravens?
It's a fifth-rounder.
We asked the question, what's going on with the Ravens?
What's the deal?
Coming up next.
Who aced the draft and who completely whiffed? We're breaking down the picks, the fits, and where your team goes next. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Hanging out with you until 3 Eastern, then Jim Rome will take over right here on Westwood One Sports. I got to ask you, Abdalla, what's going on with the Baltimore Ravens? Right? Like, this is a franchise that everyone respects. I think that this is a franchise that will be in the running for the Super Bowl out of the AFC. Mm-hmm. I like Baltimore over Buffalo at this moment. You and I have gone back and forth. That's been like our number one debate topic in the last 2 months. Is who's the best team in the AFC? You say Buffalo, I say Baltimore. We argue, and then boom, show. Yeah. That's it. It's not manufactured. No. This is just how I feel. I think it's Baltimore. You think it's Buffalo. Yeah. But there's been a lot of strange stuff going around with Baltimore as of late. Mm-hmm. John Harbaugh is now with the Giants. The Max Crosby situation. They trade for the player, and then they pulled out of the trade, and they failed the physical for the player after the player was in the facility. But then Crosby's side of the story is that they kind of were like, they invited him over and then
standoffish and
it was
everything.
Weird.
Yeah.
The whole thing was strange. Mm-hmm. And now we get the owner, Steve Bisciotti, who drafted a player in the 5th round of this year's draft.
Yeah.
The owner's pick.
Okay.
So does every team, does the owner get a selection for every team?
No, the owner doesn't get a selection, but it's his team.
Terry Pagula wheels, he opens the door and walks into the room in Buffalo and says, I want to make a selection.
Well, I mean,
we know that Jerry's running the show with the Cowboys.
Jerry Jones gets a say on all of the picks.
So here's Eric DaCosta talking about Biscotti making a draft pick.
Adam Randall's an interesting pick. I think it is. You'll probably see the video at some point. It's the first draft pick that Steve Bisciotti has ever made. So, when we were down in Florida, Steve was begging for a draft pick, and he owns the team. I said, yes, Steve. And so, of course, you're going to have a draft pick. And so we decided on our last 5th-round pick. He did his research. He studied the tape, talked to people. He's got a really good relationship with the Clemson head coach. And Adam's a guy, as a former wideout, he's got a varied skill set. He does a lot of different things well. We think the best is yet to come with him as a running back. He's got really good hands. He can run routes. He's a possible kick returner, special teams guy. He's got a great body and good measurables. And we're excited to see what he can do. He's kind of a jackknife, and he's a phenomenal kid. We think one of the best makeups in this draft.
There you go. Eric DaCosta on Steve Bisciotti. He wanted a pick. Yeah. The owner wanted a pick. The owner did his own research.
Yeah.
He watched the tape. He made a pick.
So it was the 34th pick in the 5th round because of, supplemental picks and all that kind of stuff.
Sports teams really are just vanity projects for these billionaires,
right? Yeah, they absolutely
right?
are. Yes.
That's all that this is.
That's all they are. Yeah. And here's the other part. He probably asked Harbaugh before, and Harbaugh has told him to kick rocks multiple times.
Yeah, I see it like if I wanted to invest in a pizza restaurant, and then I show up on a Friday night when the place is slammed, and I'm like, I want to make a pie.
And they're like, get out!
I want to get there. I want to take the dough and I want to spin it around. I want to make a pie.
Come back.
It's my money that's running this place.
Come back on a Tuesday at 3:00 when no one's here.
Like DaCosta, he answered it in the nicest way possible. Well, yeah, you're the owner.
He got an end of the round 5th round pick. He drafted a running back to the team that has Derrick Henry.
Yes.
Okay.
Adam Randall.
All right. I don't see what's wrong with this.
Well, I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. It's just
and here's the thing. They were this draft, not next year's draft. This crap draft.
The crap draft.
Yeah, what?
A lot of dreams were realized.
Good for them.
Congratulations to all the players drafted.
Congratulations to Adam Randall.
Abdalla's calling your draft crap.
You're behind Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, and Rasheen Ali. You're a 4th-string running back.
Yeah, probably won't even make the team.
Well, he will now because Bisciotti picked him.
So there you go. So the Ravens give the owner a 5th-round pick to make.
That's what he did his homework.
Did his homework?
Yeah.
I want to do the homework, and I want to make a pick.
Okay, so make a pick. Buy a team first.
Okay, well, I got to figure that out.
Well, that's first of all, that's the big step.
Who's up for sale? Who can I talk to about this?
I don't know if anybody's.
I don't think anyone at this moment.
At this moment's up for sale right now
in the NFL.
You gotta wait. You gotta wait.
How much does it cost?
Couple billion.
Oh, well, I don't have that.
10-ish billion.
Yeah, what about investors? Can I get some investment
Seahawks
help?
are up.
Oh, yeah. Seahawks are up.
They didn't sell? I thought
Not
that
yet.
they sold.
No, not yet.
I thought we had the story that they were going to go for like $6 billion or something.
They
could.
are for sale right now, but no one's like bought them yet. On the
I
market.
like Seattle. Seattle's a cool city.
All right. You want to buy the Seahawks?
I could fly to Seattle every once in a while and watch some football.
You got $6 billion?
No.
Well, that's a problem.
Could we?
I got like $7. We could all chip in. Laura,
Yeah, that's
you
a
got
start.
anything?
It's more than zero. So we got that. All right. So maybe we'll have to talk to some people. Maybe get some investors to help us out.
Yeah.
But if that were able to happen, I would like to make a pick.
You can if you want to.
I would like to do
Nothing
that.
before the 5th round, though. I'll tell you that.
It's Bleck Abdalla, sponsored by Progressive Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. So last week, Thursday and Friday, we were broadcasting live from Acrisure Stadium for the NFL draft. We were backstage for night one of the draft. It was a great time. Wonderful time. So we were there on Thursday. We broadcasted our show from noon to 3 Eastern. And then we went for a walk around the beautiful city of Pittsburgh. And we came back to the stadium. And then we were there for night one of the draft. We were there until what, like 12:30 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
Great time. We then returned back to the stadium on Friday morning to then broadcast from noon to 3 Eastern, the Bleck Abdalla show here on Westwood One Sports. And at the stadium, there were clearly people at the stadium, but none of the media was there because the draft, night two of the draft, wasn't until the evening.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, we were the only ones broadcasting. And the way the setup kind of worked out was that the stage that you saw on TV was in front of the stadium, and then the fans are in the parking lot. And then backstage was inside the stadium on the suite level. So you would go into the stadium, all the players would enter the stadium, they go up to the second floor, and on the suite level is where they had the TV responsibilities and then all the different radio responsibilities as well. And that's where Abdalla and I broadcasted both days.
Yeah.
From that spot. And on Friday, we were the only ones in there.
Yeah.
It was a ghost town.
The whole stadium.
The whole stadium was empty except the Bleck and Abdalla show and various workers, security guards, and whatnot that were there putting together work for the night, the evening's events, right? So before the show on Friday, Abdalla, I go to the bathroom, walk into the bathroom.
As usual.
Yes, per usual. And when I walk into the bathroom, like, no one is in the stadium. It's an empty stadium.
Yeah.
I immediately hear someone talking on the phone while in the stall.
In the bathroom stall?
Yeah, the sitting variety.
Oh.
So there's someone in the stall sitting, talking on the phone.
On the phone?
On the phone.
Okay.
So first of all, faux pas number one.
That's disgusting.
Is you don't take phone calls while you're sitting in the bathroom, let alone take phone calls while you're standing in the bathroom. No phone calls in the bathroom.
No phone calls in the bathroom.
But he was sitting, so he clearly thought, like we thought, like we're the only ones in the stadium. So he was going to have a nice little phone call.
Yeah.
While he was taking care of some business.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Identify yourself. Was that Laura or Raj with the toilet sound effect?
That was Laura. That was Laura.
What?
That was Laura.
Yeah.
It was Laura. All right. So I walk in and he's on the phone. And I can tell he's on the phone because this is what he's saying. Baby, I miss you so much.
Nope.
Baby, you're the best. I miss you. I love you so much, baby. Baby, you're mine, baby. And I'm like, what is going on?
I just got to chill because that's so uncomfortable. Like, I'm uncomfortable.
I was uncomfortable.
Who was he talking to?
A baby.
A baby?
No, his baby.
His baby?
But he was giving in little love notes to his baby on the phone while sitting in the bathroom. Can't that wait till later?
No.
He had to tell baby at the moment.
Maybe baby's got somewhere to be.
And so here's the situation. I would have loved. Was that Laura or Raj? Which one?
Well, it's in between babies.
Laura, Raj, identify yourself. Who's there?
It's Laura.
It was not me.
It's Laura again.
Laura's flushing.
All right,
Well, you know there was multiple people in there.
He didn't know. I mean, he would have heard the door open and close, and I walk in.
Yeah.
And he is doing little, hey, baby.
Little sweet nothings.
Yeah, having a little conversation.
Was it FaceTime?
Why? I don't know. And I hope not. I hope that's not the situation that was taking place.
No.
You sure?
But I'll say this. I would have loved to share this story on Friday. The problem
This is the best part of the story.
So I walk out of the bathroom after I hear him with the sweet nothings on the toilet.
Yes.
I walk out of the bathroom and I come walking up. So the bathroom was like, 10 steps away from where we were
right by the
broadcasting from?
bathroom. Yeah.
So
Prime
I
spot.
walk out and I look at the two of you sitting at our desk with the headsets on. I go, you guys just talk.
Yep.
Just
And I
have
was
a
like, what does he
conversation.
want? But you had us start talking and you walked away. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah, and I
what is he
walk
doing
away
here?
and I walk to the entrance of the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if I could hear you guys. And I could.
Absolutely.
I could hear everything you guys said because we were the only ones
Nothing else
there.
is going on.
It was very
So
quiet.
I thought to myself, I can't come back from the break and be like, guys, you won't believe what just happened in the bathroom. There's a guy in there sitting, doing sweet nothings into his phone, talking to baby, telling her how
that
much he
curtain would have
loves
gotten
you.
pulled back and we
Yeah.
would have had to deal with something.
He would have
That could have
walked
been
out
an
of the
epic
bathroom.
moment. Now that I think about it, maybe we
He
missed
would
an
have walked out of the
opportunity
bathroom
there.
and be like, what? So what? You got a problem?
You got a problem with my baby?
You got a problem with me saying sweet nothings? Hey, baby, I love you, baby.
Hey, baby.
Can't wait to see you, baby. So I had to tell it today because I didn't want to get my face kicked in.
Are you
for him
sure
hearing us.
he was on the phone?
You think he was just talking to himself?
Do you think that's like a pep talk for him to help himself?
No. He was he was talking to his love interest.
Okay.
That's what was happening.
Could you hear someone talking back?
No, but you could tell with the pausing in the conversation that someone was responding to him.
Okay.
You know when you can only hear one side of a phone conversation?
Yeah.
And then there's a pause?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no. Absolutely. And like they're talking.
Okay.
So he was having a conversation.
Okay. This wasn't just a pep talk for himself.
No.
And then between all those the pauses, all you hear is
Yeah.
To help with the movement. Yeah.
And to be
movements.
honest, I would have felt better if I heard the flushes taking place because then he was actually accomplishing
There's
something.
no flushes.
I don't want to. What was going on in there?
What was going on in that stall?
We were the only ones in the stadium.
I wish we could have confronted this gentleman.
We should have talked
I feel
about
like you
it.
should
We
have
missed
waited
out.
outside.
We should have talked about it.
You knocked
Excuse
on
me,
the
sir.
door. Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me,
why are you
sir.
saying baby to?
What are you doing?
What's happening
going on
there?
in there? No, I just wanted to know the face, so then you could be like outside, be like, "How was that?"
I think it may have been one of the security guards
Oh God.
who were standing out there who knew who we were because we talked to them.
Yeah, of course we did. We talked to all the security guards because we saw them so many times those last 2 days.
So I think it was one of those guys.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
So there you go. There's our adventure from the bathroom in Pittsburgh, live from the NFL draft, behind the scenes. We're the only ones in the stadium, except our
Only
friend
ones.
in the stall, talking to his baby. Hey, baby.
Or helping himself.
Yeah, well, no, please, no.
Abdalla.
No.
No, I'm just saying he's
No,
pep. He's
no,
pep.
no.
Ta- no,
That's
it's a pep talk for the
crazy.
movement.
No,
It's a
Adam,
pep talk for the
no.
movement.
No, with your FaceTime question. I
Pep
know
talk
what you're
for the
doing.
movement.
I know what you're doing there. Tonight in the NBA, Detroit, Orlando, Oklahoma City, Thunder, the Phoenix Suns, and then Game 5, Timberwolves and Nuggets. Is Jokić the softest player in the NBA? We talk about that next.
The Cardinals draft Carson Beck after a national title game run at Miami. Is the experienced pocket passer ready to be Arizona's quarterback of the future? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Download the podcast on Apple and on Spotify. Also, check out our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show, the live stream running each and every day here on the show, right there, Bleck and Abdalla Show on YouTube. Also, all of the interviews that we conducted backstage, night one of the NFL draft, they're all posted right there. Like and subscribe, Bleck and Abdalla Show, right there on YouTube. Thanks to Raj and to Laura for producing today's show. Bleck Abdalla, Jim Rome, and the Jim Rome Show is coming up in 14 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. Tonight in the NBA, Pistons at Magic. That is Game 4. The Magic lead the series 2-1, 8 o'clock Eastern. Thunder and Suns, 9:30 Eastern, Game 4. The Thunder look for the sweep on the Phoenix Suns tonight. They're up 3-0. And then the main event this evening, Timberwolves at Nuggets. Game 5, Minnesota leads the series 3-1. It's 10:30 Eastern time tip for that contest. And after what we saw at the end of Game 4, where Nikola Jokić took offense to the bucket at the end from Jaden McDaniels, a basket that didn't need to be scored with 1.3 seconds left in a blowout loss, 112-96. And Jokić ran up on him. He shoved him and then tried to act like, woe is me, where when the Timberwolves started to react to someone running up on someone and pushing and shoving, he did not take lightly to the bucket at the end. He was fined yesterday $50,000 because of that. Julius Randle was fined $35,000 in their parts in the altercation that took place in the closing moments of the game on Saturday night. I love that there's a little animosity in this series. We talked about this, Abdalla, heading into the playoffs, that this was a series to keep your eyes on because this is a series between two teams who are within the same division. So they see each other a lot. They've seen each other in the playoffs previously, and these players don't like each other. That's missing sometimes in sports today. It's great. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when you get these two teams that don't like each other and play each other in 4 games in a row now, and they play each other a lot in the regular season, tempers start to boil over, especially when you do something like McDaniels did where he puts that layup in at the end and Jokić took offense to it. I think you're starting to see a little bit of that with the Suns and the Thunder as well, where the Suns are started to take, more so with the officials, but nobody really likes the way the Thunders play basketball. So I think you're starting to see that with some of these series. So I like it. I think it's fun when teams start to get a little chippy and a little, I don't want to see anybody get suspended because then you have games without stars and that kind of thing. But I'm glad that no one got suspended for this game tonight, but it should be a good one.
Yeah, there are no suspensions, but let's call it what it is. Jokić is soft.
Yeah.
That was weak. Mm-hmm. And if you got a problem, play better defense. They called you out.
Yeah.
By name, saying that you suck on D. You're terrible.
Don't go after a player at the end of the game when you should have been able to take care of business throughout the entire game.
Well, and that's the case. That's why he's a sore loser, sour grapes. And I think that, obviously tonight they have to show up.
Yeah.
If they don't win, if the Nuggets don't win tonight, they're eliminated. And Minnesota can continue to talk their trash.
Yeah.
And they have. I like the attitude that they bring to it. And they clearly are under Jokic's skin. And Gobert, to this point here in the playoffs, has owned Jokić in the second half of games. It has been very good to watch the defensive effort from Gobert on Jokić. And Jokić is so talented, so skilled. But clearly, Minnesota knows how to get under them a little bit. So, Abdalla, I do want to bring this up before we're done here, and we hand it off to Jim Rome. Did you see the latest information about Mike Vrabel?
Oh, what's the latest information about Mike Vrabel, Chris?
Per reports around Foxborough, after missing, this is from Adam Schefter moments ago, after missing day 3 of the NFL draft to be with his family, Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel is back at work with the team today.
You don't say.
So he went to leave the team to spend time with his family.
Yeah.
And realized, I need to get back to work.
Oh, did he? Did he? And reports from Awful Announcing say that he was in direct communication with the team during day 3 of the draft, even though the team denies it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh? Who told you that? Who told you that would happen?
You said this.
Huh?
You said this on Friday.
Huh?
This is all just a PR stunt.
I told you this would happen.
I agree with you. It's a PR stunt. The whole thing. The whole thing's a PR stunt.
It's ridiculous, man. The fact that he was, I'm taking time away from me and my family. You took half a day, if that. You didn't even request time off
A day. He took the weekend.
He took a long lunch, is what he did.
He took the weekend.
If that, he was still working from home. He was working from home. They were texting him about draft picks, according to Awful announcing.
My family's first and foremost. I need to be with them. He gets with the family. All right, I gotta get
back to work.
I gotta get out of here.
I can't deal with this.
I
cannot deal with this. I got draft picks to talk to. I got business to work on. He is already back with counseling. He went to one session, if that. What is this?
Am I crazy? But I thought I saw reports over the weekend that he was in like Utah or something. Is that not real?
A quick flight.
But was it just that? Was that not the case?
I don't know.
Did he not actually go to some facility or something?
Don't know. Obviously, one day was enough for him.
I mean, it's a long flight for a day.
He fast-tracked that counseling. Apparently, he's cured. He's all cured. Everything's good with him and his wife.
He took the online course.
Yeah, he fast-tracked. You know what, Chris? He did what the smart
AI do.
He did what the smart kids do. He tested out of marriage counseling, is what he did. He just did what the smart kids did. He tested out of it. He's gifted when it comes to marriage counseling.
So Mike Vrabel is back with the team today on Monday after his weekend away to counsel.
Dude, he didn't miss a damn thing.
Jeez. All right, so that's the latest breaking in the NFL at this hour. Vrabel is back with the Patriots after spending time away for counseling.
For a day and a half. Interesting.
It's like he went and played a round of golf or something and then came back.
He spent more time away from his family to get counseling. Are you kidding me?
So there you go. That's the latest from Vrabel and the Patriots as he's back in Foxborough.
And then now he doesn't have to address the media now until their next offensive training or off-season training program, which is towards the end of May. Because now this is like the next prolonged, quote, dead time. Because the schedule announcement should be coming out in the next couple weeks here.
Yeah, it's usually like the second week of May.
Second week of May. And then you've got a couple more off-season training things for these teams. And that's the next time Vrabel will speak. So the next time we'll hear from Mike Vrabel is supposedly going to be the end of May. And I'm sure he'll be asked about his one day of training, of counseling.
Technically two. Sunday as well.
Maybe. He had to fly back.
Saturday, Sunday.
Maybe.
What if he went local?
Okay.
What if it was somewhere in town? He didn't have to travel. What do you think the PR firm is telling him to do?
Well, probably not show up today.
No, he looked good. I saw the photo.
Yeah, he looks happy.
Yeah, he looks refreshed.
He looks happy and refreshed.
He looks ready to go.
Yeah, he looks ready for football.
Yeah, Vrabel's ready.
Ridiculous.
How about that? He was gone for the weekend.
I told you.
You were right. That's why I wanted to bring it up. You were correct. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Coming up next, Jim Rome in the Jim Rome Show right here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.